24 hours, even before I'm president.
And boy, are the sensors on it today. Holy cow. My goodness. We'll need the audience's help today to get this message out. Again, when you put assassination in the title of your thumbnail, you end up not getting much traction, if you will.
No.
We'll need everybody today, but it is the story.
Actually, about journalists, you know?
Yeah, they don't like you to know that they're assassinating journalists in Missouri. They don't like that. How about Missouri, though? Let me Wednesday, August 26, 2026. Let me get the details of the show out of the way very quickly. We're going to have Matt Thompson on at 9:50 a.m. Central Daylight Time. He is the guy that funded the documentary about Jeffrey Weinhaus. I'm going to continue to get loud about Jeffrey Weinhaus. Matt Thompson will be at our People's Lobby, Missouri meeting on September the 18th in St. Charles County. We secured the venue yesterday. So September the 18th, if you're a member of People's Lobby, Missouri, reach out because that is going to be an unbelievable night. We'll have Matt Thompson talking about the Jeffrey Weinhaus case. You can ask all the questions you'd like. He knows it inside out, backwards and forwards. And then we'll have Phil Turney from the USS Liberty Vets. He's a living legend. And when you can look into his eyes and ask him what he experienced on June 8th, 1967, I think it will change the way you perceive the American government moving forward. So we have September the 18th, Matt Thompson, and we have Phil Turney. And then later on, by the way, Matt Thompson at 9:50. And then at 10:30, we have Robb Workman and Theodora Scarato. And they're going to talk about dirty energy. And I want to lay that out from my standpoint, and then we'll let them talk about what they see as well. Crazy day ahead. So if you can, like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's the only way that we have any chance of being successful on some of these formats. We'll get the message out there one way or another. If we have to knock on doors to get it out there, we're going to get it out there. But when it comes to social media, there are certain things they don't like us talking about. Everybody knows it's not just me. I'm not whining and complaining. I understand the deal. We should be, Isaiah and I were talking before the show started. We should all be going to Congress and say, why do you still have YouTube and all of these as private entities? It's the public square. If Rob Carter wants to get a message out, and I'm not calling for violent insurrection, which I'm not, I'm just saying be aware of your circumstances, then why can these private industries limit my reach and expand and blow up other people's reach? Well, how is that fair? It would be like, as I was telling Isaiah this morning, let's go back before the internet and we were just making conversation on the phone. Can you imagine a situation where Ma Bell says Rob can't make calls to these particular states? He can't call these particular people because we own the telephone lines and we don't like what Rob is saying. So we'll let other people make phone calls, but Rob can't make a phone call because Ma Bell is a private business. It's just absolutely absurd. Our government is so inept and corrupt and sickening. I mean, they are just miserably sickening people to allow the things that they are allowing. They're traitors to the country. It's not much more complicated than that. They are traitors to the American idea. They're traitors to liberty. They're traitors to justice. They're traitors to free speech. They're traitors to frickin' everything. And I'm experiencing it firsthand. And Isaiah is now right alongside me. It is incredible what they do. The amount of censorship that is going on in the country right now would blow your mind. You may get the information, but the normal everyday person has no access to it whatsoever. They don't know where to look for it. They don't know how to get it. They're watching Fox News and CNN, and they're in that bubble in perpetuity. It's incredible to me. All right, I want to get a couple of housekeeping notes. Where's my housekeeping, Isaiah? Let me get that real fast.
Housekeeping.
I haven't played that in a while. Where is that? Hang on. I used to know this thing backwards and forwards, and now I can't. Here we go. Here we go, Isaiah. A little housekeeping out of the way.
Keep adding to it.
Housekeeping.
It's getting too long. That's the problem. All right. We all heard about Dolly Parton dying yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get that out of the way right away. Clip number 9, Isaiah. Clip number 9. This is Dolly Parton. She wanted you to get your vaccines because she was smarter than you. And then, as I said, if you're older and you had an adverse reaction to those things, nobody thought anything of it. You're 80, you die. Come on. Yep. Everybody dies when they get old, right? But it's funny how the people that were pushing the vaccines, these celebrities, they just dropping dead one after another. And I love Dolly Parton, so don't take this as a bad thing. I'm just saying everybody was brainwashed during COVID, and I don't know that people have ever gotten out of it. Here is Dolly Parton telling you to get your vaccines. Check it out.
My vaccine, I'm so excited. I've been waiting a while. I'm old enough to get it, and I'm smart enough to get it.
She's old enough and smart enough. And I'm saying the vaccines were the beginning of the end for rational thought in our country. We got to watch it all firsthand, and nothing has changed. People do not have the ability to think at all. And that leads me to my next conversation. By the way, this came across my feed this morning. Arizona State hockey player Matthew Mayich remains hospitalized in critical condition 5 days after collapsing during an outdoor team workout. The 21-year-old reportedly suffered a possible cardiac event. His family has asked for privacy and continued prayers as support pours in from the hockey community. Mayich transferred to ASU this offseason after spending 3 seasons at Clarkson University. He was selected by the St. Louis Blues in the 6th round of the 2023 NHL draft. That is,
do people not notice the increase that we've seen
one after another
post-COVID? Not even post-COVID, but post-COVID vaccines. The increase of people that we've seen just dropping not even dropping dead, but just having some type of heart issues, dropping down and needing medical attention.
Yeah, and it's not a big conversation anymore because COVID is supposedly over, so people don't
Yeah.
talk about it. But my wife tells me that the hospital that she works at, she's in ICU. She's been there for 15, 16, 17 years. She said what goes on in the hospitals is unrecognizable to what was going on pre-COVID.
Hmm.
She's tripled every day, illness from everywhere, all kinds of different illnesses. She said post-COVID, it is just a completely different world. I was talking to somebody at my buddy's funeral who has been in nursing for 20 years. She said, I said, is that what you're experiencing too? She goes, oh my God, yes. She goes, post-COVID, the ICU it's completely different than it used to be. It's just constant with injuries and illnesses. But the Republicans and the Democrats got a stranglehold on the mind of the American people, so they can just shoot you with poisons and sell it on their television sets, and nobody will do anything about it, Isaiah. That's just the way it is.
I was wondering, do you think it's a placebo effect from COVID that people just have? They think every sickness now they've got to be concerned about.
Well, I'm sure there's a mixture.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a mixture, but no, these are real illnesses that they're facing. These are real illnesses.
Wow.
A lot of cancer, a lot of very aggressive cancer. You get it,
Yeah.
and instead of living for a year or 2 years as they treat the cancer, you're dead in 3 or 4 months. Very aggressive cancers, a lot of heart issues, tons of heart issues. And it's just, it's post-COVID. Make of it what you will. Could it be the vaccines? Could it be the food? Could it be the air? Could it be the water? I submit to you, it's probably all of the above. All right. The other thing I want to talk about, because when we bring in Robb Workman and Theodora Scarato, they're going to talk about dirty energy. They're going to talk about how the energy grid is set up and how dangerous it is to many people, if not all people in America, and it is being implemented without anybody paying attention. So let me think how I want to tell this story. Let's combine it with another big story of the day. Who is the young lady that Lindsay Clancy? That's the big story where she killed her kids.
Mhm.
And I'm watching people on social media saying, she should, she's an evil person, that, anybody that kills their kids, death penalty right away, quit making excuses for them. And I tend to agree with that, but you do not understand the history of mind control. You just either you don't believe it, you don't understand it, you don't know what's going on. But there's a long history that I've been studying for quite some time with the drugs that you put into people's systems. MK Ultra, the ability to alter the human mind through light, through electricity, through energy, through drugs, through all kinds of different means. And I want to show you what I'm talking about, and then we'll kind of expand the conversation. Clip number 2. This is Dr. Jack Kruse. He went on the podcast tour not too long ago. I find him incredibly interesting. He's a medical doctor. He moved out of the country because he said it's not safe to be in America anymore. And a lot of big time podcasters go down and they interview this guy. He's a brilliant person with a long history. Listen to what he's talking about. We'll give you just a little bit of it, and then we'll spread the story out just a little bit so everybody understands. Clip number 2, Isaiah.
Great. It's a 30-minute interview. Do you just want me to play it from the beginning? Just
play from the beginning for maybe a minute, 2 minutes.
Awesome.
The story that I have been trying to tell for a long time is the reason why Robert O. Becker gets canceled by the same group of people. Why? Because he's doing work on non-native EMF electropollution for the U.S. Navy. And the story that people don't really understand is how this ties to the progression that I made in the Danny Jones podcast. This is MK Ultra, graduates to SRI, Stanford Research Institute. Then magically under Obama in 2013, you have the Brain Health Initiative. All of a sudden, everything goes to Central and South America. So I would have thought in some of these podcasts, ones I did with Danny, ones I've done with Adrian D'Amico, ones I did with Bull Warg, but the last one, the big one, was when Breedlove came down here for 4 days and interviewed me, told them bits and pieces, and no one's asked me the real question. Why in the fuck did this thing morph? Well, turns out another guy, a part of this program, is a guy named Alan Fry. In the late 60s, he takes the work of Jose Delgado, the guy that everybody knows about the bull and the wires in the head. And then I told Danny at the end of this process, they found out they didn't need wires, they didn't need chips, they could do it with light. And he goes, what? That is the last part of the story that nobody seems to understand.
Okay, that's good, Isaiah.
So they begin to realize.
What he's talking about is experiments that went on in Nazi Germany under MK Ultra. Operation Paperclip brought them to the United States. And what they were trying to do was figure out how to control the mind. So certain portions of the mind, if they could put electrical pulses in them, they could get a reaction out of animals, then they moved into human beings. And most people would think, well, that's never happened to me, therefore it doesn't happen at all, and therefore it's a big conspiracy theory and nobody would believe it. Except for Delgado and the bull experiment he videoed, and back in those days they talked about it endlessly. Let's just watch that video very quickly. This is a researcher on the mind who put electrical currents into the mind of a bull and was able to remote control this bull. And he did it on video. It was a big story back in the day. Nobody talks about it anymore. But here is the way it looked. Check this out. Clip number 1, Isaiah.
Electronic mind control research is not new. A scientific milestone in this area came in the 1960s when Dr. Jose Delgado demonstrated remote control over a charging bull. By connecting a radio antenna to electrodes inserted into the bull's brain, Delgado proved that the animal's aggressive impulses could be thwarted by electronically manipulating the bull's muscle reflexes.
Do you realize the fantastic possibilities if from the outside we could modify the inside? Could we give messages to the inside? But the beauty is that now we are not using electrodes.
In recent years, Delgado has shown that the behavior of monkeys can be altered using low-power, pulsating magnetic fields. But in these experiments, there were no antenna implants.
Any function in the brain, emotions, intellect, personality, well, could be perhaps modified by this non-invasive technology.
Delgado's research has so far been limited to animals. But in the Soviet Union, a radio frequency, or RF device, has been used for over 30 years to manipulate the moods of mental patients.
So this goes back to the 1960s, and I ask any common sense thinking person, get your thimble out real fast, get that thimble out, throw all of your common sense into it, and ask yourself if they had this technology in the 1960s, and you see the government, what they do to us with the vaccines and the 6G and all of these different technological advances that we now are aware of, what do you think they're doing to certain people? What do you think they're going to be able to do to the world? And do you think it's a good thing? Do you think that AI is going to be so wonderful for everybody? It's going to cure all of our diseases. It's going to be this magic ocean that makes all of our lives that much better, so we can make memes and we can make videos and we can have it do our homework for us and all of these different things. Do you think that this is a good thing? Or do you think that the people in power that have control of AI technology might use it against us? If you had to guess, Isaiah, and if you still have to guess, let me remind you that we're in continual war forever. We have assassinations all over our country that nobody talks about. We'll get to Jeffrey Weinhaus here in just a bit. They just put you through one of the biggest con jobs in the history of the world when they coerced and mandated vaccines that were really genetic therapies into your arms. Nobody is in trouble for it. They're going to try and pin it on Dr. Darth Fauci, who was a part of a much bigger scheme. Yeah. Everybody that has overflowed that thimble of common knowledge knows that this was a con job from day one, and our country sits back on its hands and goes, I'm not really sure. I don't know. It could, I'm not really sure it was a con job. I don't know how Robb survived. He's got asthma and allergies, and he never even paid attention to COVID and traveled the entire country while it was going on. And nobody in his family died. Nobody seemed to be adversely affected at all because they didn't get vaccinated. The people that did get vaccinated got sick. How you like them apples? It's just amazing what goes on. And look at the censorship today, Isaiah. Look at the censorship today. It is incredible what goes on in this country. I ask everybody that can hear what's going on today.
It's the assassination word.
It is. It's the assassination word. I want people to start to challenge the government. We'll go to D.C. I cannot wait till Jefferson City opens back up again, because what they're doing is they are using technology to silence the voices of people trying to tell the truth. And they're doing it through technology. They're doing it through platforms. Young people do not watch Fox News. Young people under the age of 35 do not watch CNN. They don't watch Meet the Press. They don't watch any of that nonsense. They get their information and they do it judiciously through the social media platforms. And because they know that information is spreading, true information can be spread and disseminated through social media platforms, they limit the reach of the truth tellers. We'll have Dr. Shiva on tomorrow. Dr. Shiva had 3+ million subscribers to his channel on X, and he gets less viewership than me. They don't want his information out there. They don't like him telling the truth. They don't like him telling you about election integrity. They don't like any of that, so they just squash him down to nothing. And because he's got 4 degrees from MIT, he understands the math behind it, the science behind it. He understands how it works, and they just won't let the man get 1 inch forward, won't allow it. Okay, so just remember all that. Now let's go to Catherine Austin Fitts. This woman has been right about everything. I've been following her for, 8, 9 years now. She's right all the time. At some point, you got to go, wait a minute. If she's predicting the future, maybe we should pay attention to what she's saying today. Does that make sense, Isaiah? If she says something in 2018 that's going to happen in 2020, and then it happens exactly like she describes it, and then in 2020, she said, this is what's going to happen in 2022, and it happens exactly the way she describes it. And then in 2023, she says, this is what's going to happen in 2024, 2025, and it happens exactly the way she describes it. Then in 2026, may we pay attention to her to find out what's going to happen in 2028? Would that make sense, Isaiah? Do you see a pattern? All right, let's just play it out here just a little bit. This is Catherine Austin Fitts talking about America's Republican hero, defender of freedom. Will not start any more foreign wars and going to cut your energy in half, and every move he makes is 5D chess. Donald Trump. This is what she had to say about our president. Check it out.
And Trump was put into the White House to persuade conservatives to go along with a control grid. And what you need to understand is if you look at all the factions operating in Washington, there is nobody on our side. They are all trying to implement the control grid. And the question is, who's going to control it and who's going to make money on it? So is Trump our friend? Absolutely not. And if you look at the extraordinary effort that the administration has made to build the control grid, the local hardware and software infrastructure, billions of dollars. So let me step and talk about the local infrastructure and then come back to this side, Andy. Let me explain what AI is really good at. So there's a lot of crazy, magical, stupid thinking on AI. But one of the things I will say about AI, it's absolutely superb at implementing or tracking things that can be expressed mathematically. So its ability to collect and process huge amounts of data like surveillance data, where you're trying to implement spatial control or financial control, it's absolutely fantastic at, okay? And if you look at all the data centers we're building all over the country, they are there for control. That's what they do. They're not there to make businesses. You know, I always laugh when the guys say, oh, we poured all this money into AI and it's not making companies more productive. Well, of course, it's not meant to make companies more productive. It's meant to make sure that the leadership has complete control, spatial control and financial control. I just noted Congressman Massey is now fighting to kill the switch in your car. You know, kill the car switch. So they've got new items in the car that your car can be turned off, you know, remotely. And so he's trying to kill the kill switch. But that gets back to spatial control. And if everybody's an electric car and you could kill the switch, there you go. You've got total control of movements and money.
Isaiah, what I find so fascinating about Catherine Austin Fitts is she did a video, about a 45-minute interview called Prison Planet. She said that whenever, you got to remember back to the time, I think people don't have long memories anymore. They just can't put it all together because information just floods into their mind. And
information overload, yeah.
Information overload. But if we go back to the time, 2023, 2024, when Donald Trump was running against Kamala Harris, the prevailing wisdom on the right was that the election was stolen in 20, nothing had changed, and it would be stolen in 2024. And if you were looking at the polling, everything was kind of 50-50. You didn't really know. They love that, by the way. They love the 50-50 polling because then whatever happens is good. And she said, no. She goes, Donald Trump is going to win the election. She goes, you're not paying attention to what's happening here. Donald Trump will be able to implement a control grid, as she just said there, but she said it many times. He'll be able to implement the control grid because conservatives and libertarians would never go for total surveillance if it wasn't Donald Trump putting it in. And isn't that true? Did she get it wrong? Did she get it wrong? Do you see the Republican Party fighting back against AI? No, they're trying to endorse it. You got these people, these offshoots of the grassroots in the state of Missouri that are bending over backwards to get AI implemented, these AI hyperscale data centers in the state of Missouri. And it doesn't matter how
Don't
many
you want to
people-
use Facebook on your phone, Rob?
this is the argument, right? I already use Facebook. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's treason, Isaiah. I hate to use that word because people, oh, Rob, you're being high. It's treason to put forth a society that can be completely surveilled by a central source. That's treason. That is an erosion of your First Amendment. It'll be an erosion of your Fourth Amendment. It's an erosion of your 10th Amendment. They are systematically destroying freedom and liberty right underneath the noses of Americans because Americans are watching ball games and The Masked Singer, and they don't pay attention to what's going on in their life. They just know it's more difficult. But they think it's Joe Biden's fault, or they think it's Obama's fault, or they think it's Trump's fault. They're all the same. They're all the same. They all work in tandem in this left-right paradigm to hijack the mind of our citizens. And that's just the way it works. And, I think any close observation would lead you to that conclusion. Look at what G. Edward Griffin said. Now, if you're so smart out there and you know everything and you're really brilliant and you've got this all figured out, just remember that here's a brilliant man, G. Edward Griffin, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Read it. Here's a man who said at 94 and a half years old that he diagnosed what Donald Trump was all about, called him a puppet. He said he knew he was going to be a puppet when he said he was meeting with Henry Kissinger twice before the 2016 elections. He said that's all I needed to know. That was okay, well, he's going to be another puppet just like the rest of them. And he makes the same argument that I make. You could not get to that position unless the establishment wanted you there. You could not make your way through, no matter how many times you try to make excuses for it. There is zero chance that you could win a nationwide election unless the big money wants you in the head chair. And that, I think it's been that way since Kennedy was passed away.
I mean, Darlene Graham is a perfect example. You know what I mean?
Where's my MMTLP people? They hated Ralph Norman. Ralph Norman was going to help him out. He was going to help him out, and then he didn't get anything done. Well, maybe Darlene Graham will help him out, right? Maybe Darlene Graham will get it done for him. The only thing that's going to help the MMTLP people, the only thing that's going to help them is if they organize and get down to Washington, D.C. and make their presence felt. Hoping that Donald Trump is going to sign something that's going to change the financial system that he is grifting off of right now. Him and his family and everybody around him are making millions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars manipulating the stock market. He's selling a service that allows people to see what he has to say about events for $100,000 to get into the club so that you can make decisions on the stock market that he gives you because he's making political statements on Truth Social.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what pisses me off the most, Rob, is that if that was Joe Biden, we would be up in arms.
Well, that's the whole point Catherine Austin Fitts was trying to make.
Yeah. That just
and it puts us in a really untenable situation because most people want you to hate the Democrats or hate the Republicans. When I say they both suck, it takes a little bit of time for people to recognize where we're going with it. It's hard for them to get out of the left-right paradigm. They've been conditioned into it since they were children through all of their schooling. Then they got into the universities. Then they get into Fox News and CNN. Then they get into the whole game of it's the left versus right. It's both. Clearly, without any doubt in the world, 100%. Just absolutely no in between. These two parties work together to keep you angry with each other so they can raise money. The decisions are made in advance. They have no say-so on anything. They're puppets to the big donor money and the multinational corporations. And that is the government that we have right now. It is a government that is controlled by television, that controls you through television, controls you through imagery, controls you through propaganda, and controls you, I think, through technology. I really do. I think that people are being controlled. Nothing else makes any sense. We cannot have a population that's this dumb. Can we, Isaiah? It's impossible for our population to be this dumb, in my opinion.
It's was it Rockefeller who said that he wanted a nation of workers and not thinkers? Right?
Absolutely. And aren't we there?
That's just the realization that, you learn all these things in history. I learned this stuff and I'm hearing my mom talk about this stuff, when I'm a kid. I'm 34 now, but maybe I'm, a teenager. And I'm thinking, oh, Mom, you're thinking about some dystopian future. This is just, some future that is never going to be here, basically. And unfortunately, everything that she was warning me about and everything that my dad was warning me about when I was a kid is 100% true today. They would warn me that, no, Isaiah, you need to read more. You need to read. You need to not watch TV. you need to be off the electronics because it's going to make you dumber, right? And I mean, if that ain't if that ain't the truth, Rob, I mean, if you just look at, I'm not saying that the children are dumb today, but I would say that I think I don't know if we played that Jesse Waters clip, but me and you saw it where
I
they're
think
on
that
the
was a
beach.
setup too, Isaiah.
I think it's a setup too, but I think if we went and asked people, we would get probably some answers correct, but we would find a majority would not know the answers to those still.
You'd find that most people don't know anything about anything. They've completely checked out of their
Yeah.
own society. They think that it is on cruise control.
And they wanted us to do that. That was their plan.
Right.
Is, you know,
Right.
that's what they want.
Can I recap just very quickly? I want to recap this for you. So you have Catherine Austin Fitts, who has a resume longer than both of my arms, and I'm long, Isaiah. I don't know if you know that, but I have a very long reach. I'm tall and long, right? So it's longer than my arm, her resume. She was the first female president of Dillon Reed Investment Bank out of Pennsylvania. She's got a degree from Wharton. She was the assistant HUD secretary under the first G.H.W. Bush. She saw that there was corruption going on in our government. She started to talk out about it. Her life was at risk, and she moved to the Netherlands. Been there for a long, long time. She comes back, and she tries to explain to people that here we go. Here it comes. It's coming. The technological trap that people have been talking about for 50 years is upon us. It's here. It's right. It's happening now. You can choose to ignore it, which I guess is maybe that's what's going to go down. I hope not. I hope the American people, I don't know if it's going to take divine intervention. I don't know what it's going to take. Probably divine intervention. Something's going to happen to clear the mind so that people can see things for what they really are and not get caught up in the news narratives that keep us fighting with one another. That's going to happen eventually. Catherine Austin Fitts predicted that Donald Trump was going to win the election. And when asked why she thought he was going to win the election, she said, because he is the person they have chosen on the right to install the control grid. The control grid is the way she calls it. She's done long videos about how the whole thing is implemented, how all of the institutions are combined together to install the control grid. So Donald Trump wins the election. And what did he do day one? Does everybody remember? Day number one, he did a press conference with Sam Altman from OpenAI and Larry Ellison from Oracle, who just bought up the entire media and TikTok and said, we have a $500 billion investment in Stargate. Okay. So Larry Ellison and Sam Altman. Sam Altman is, people think that he's involved in murder because he had a whistleblower from inside of OpenAI, and then he mysteriously died, and Tucker Carlson got the interview on that one. That was pretty interesting. And then you have Larry Ellison. Let's hear a little bit from Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison talking about AI just for a minute. Clip number 8 and the censorship today. If you're watching the show today, you had to, I'm assuming you had to find us.
Yeah.
Because you can see the censorship. We're watching what's going on here. The censorship.
You know, it's crazy too, Rob. I didn't even know this. We went viral on Facebook on our new Rob Carter Show page. We have 10,000 followers since yesterday.
Get out of here.
I'm not joking. We had a video
when people hear what we're saying, if people get the opportunity to hear what we're saying, it will grow exponentially. It's just you can't get people to hear it. You got the only reason that one probably went viral, Isaiah, is because it's you opened it up new. People, before the censors could come to it and start pounding away at it, it took off because that's a new Facebook page. I just have been through this too many times. I'm very skeptical.
Man, that's so cool. We got 10,000 followers on that new page now. It's only been about less than 2 months we've had it.
That's amazing, though. I got to say,
one of the videos has 306. Yeah, just one of the videos from the other day has 364,000 views. So
unbelievable,
working out.
Now,
we just need the show to be reaching as many people, right? That's the problem.
Well, the clips are what's going to matter. Ultimately, it'll be the clips. There's John. There's John. He loves you. The Isaiah Show on Facebook has arrived. Boy, he loves you. He does.
I love it. I love you, John. I can't wait for us to play a round of golf sometime together.
You don't want to play golf with him. It's horrible. It's a terrible experience. I don't recommend it to anybody.
I mean, I would be dragging you guys down. That's for sure. We'd have to do some type of 3-man scramble or something.
He's actually very good. He doesn't hit the ball very far, but he's very good. Okay, recap again because I don't want people to get lost in the shuffle.
Sorry. Squirrel.
No worries. Very quickly. Catherine Austin Fitts, with the long resume, predicts Donald Trump is going to win, and she said he's going to win because the powers that actually are your government, not the ones you see like Donald Trump and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, all these people, that's BS. Okay. She said the people that actually run the apparatus, which you see as your government, those people will want Donald Trump to be president because Donald Trump will be able to implement the total surveillance control grid because the Republicans and the MAGA people, they will allow him to do it because they think that he's playing 6D chess and everything he does ultimately is going to work out for the benefit of the American people. She says that is what they want. That is what they're going to get. And Donald Trump will be the next president. Well, Donald Trump wins. Day number one, he brings out Larry Ellison, Zionist, Sam Altman, Zionist, and they are going to invest $500 billion. You and I, they're going to invest apparently $500 billion into the American AI hyperscale data centers around the country. And is it happening, Isaiah? So far, is she right?
Yeah. 100%.
Can we say so far that she's right? Okay, now here is Larry Ellison from Oracle. Here is what he has to say about AI, and he's at the World Economic Forum, where all the power players go to get their instructions. And here's what he had to say. Check it out.
Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
When you come to government and what government's doing, there are artificial intelligence tools, and some of them I know that Oracle have developed around financial management for government. But also, tell us a bit about because you're right at the forefront of this revolution, what it means for what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
How do you take advantage of these incredible AI models? And the first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. You have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data. And in the Middle East, in the UAE, for example, they're incredibly rich in data. They have a lot of population data. The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform. So we provide context. When we want to ask a question, we've provided that AI model with all the data they need to understand our country. So that's the big step. That's kind of the missing link. We need to unify all of the national data, put it into a database where it's easily consumable by the AI model, and then ask whatever question you like.
So you're really, through the use of this, you're revolutionizing the way government works, right? The services it provides, the way that it operates. What about things like financial management, procurement? How can AI help a government operate more efficiently, more effectively, give a more direct and better service to the citizen?
Well, we have these modern financial systems. So, countries can, and all, for example, the AI system will help you do that. But again, the secret is to get all of that data in one place. Without having the basic data, it cannot answer the question about your country.
That's good, Isaiah.
Countries are very uncomfortable with.
You are looking Satan dead in the eye. Okay? Now listen to what Catherine Austin Fitts explained, and then listen to him talk. They will wrap it around. Don't you use Facebook and X, Rob? I mean, come on. You need hyperscale data centers because look, you're using AI right now. I mean, good Lord, come on.
Don't you want to make your thumbnails, Rob? You use AI for your thumbnails. Come on.
Which makes me look 20 years older than I am. I don't like that at all. Aggravates me. All right. So she predicted exactly what would happen. They're going to sell you on the benefits of AI when in reality, all it is their surveillance grid. As obvious, look, Patriot Act after 9/11. Did maybe bells go off in your head when they went, hey, we're going to surveil everybody in America because we have terrorists that we allowed into our country to. Okay. Then you have the 702 warrantless searches. Unconstitutional. Democrats complain about it. Republicans complain about it. Been complaining about it for 25 years. And you know what's amazing about it, Isaiah? They haven't done jack diddly ding dong about it. Isn't that amazing? They both talk about how terrible it is and what an infringement it is to our constitutional rights, and then they don't get rid of it. It's just incredible. I mean, people have.
It's like China.
If people would, it's the same as China. China is the model, as Hillary Clinton said. China's the model.
Yeah.
China is the model. That's what's going to happen. If you like China, great. I prefer freedom and liberty, but that's just me. You have the Patriot Act, the 702 FISA warrants. You have flock cameras going up all over this nation. They are going to take your data, store it, and make decisions based on it, as he just said. That's what your AI hyper data skills are. It's not a race against China. It's not a race against China. We have enough firepower, no matter what they've got going on with AI, to destroy the planet. This is what they tell us anyway, right, Isaiah? We have enough firepower to destroy the planet in several hours. So what's the danger? How are they going to hurt us? The only way they're going to hurt us is because we're interconnected, because our own government has sold out to China and combined with China long, long ago, as with many other multinational corporations and cheap labor. That's how they roll it. And that is our system. Why fight it? Why act like it's not happening? That's what I don't get. I just don't understand why we're fighting what is completely obvious.
Someone, I think El Shankovich earlier said something funny. It's 5G chess.
5G chess. I like that.
Instead of 5G, it's 5G chess. I like that.
El Shank is rocking and rolling. All right, let's do a little bit of advertising, and then I'm going to bring in Matt Thompson. We're going to talk about
He's in the
Jeffrey Weinhaus case. And if you don't mind, Isaiah, if you can get the video ready, I just want people who
ready right now.
Yeah, because I think at the 29-minute mark of this
when he's driving in the car, is that when you want it to start?
Yeah, and I want people to see that if they've not seen this video before, this documentary that Matt Thompson financed. I want people to see it before we start talking about the Jeffrey Weinhaus case. And the reason we're being suppressed today is because the thumbnail says what, Isaiah? What's the thumbnail say?
Assassinating journalists.
Assassinating journalists.
Yeah.
We're cut by, from what I can see, we're cut by 50 to 75%.
Yeah. I mean, maybe more like maybe 150 to 200%.
You might be right about that. I'm trying not to sound whiny.
I know.
Okay, this is what happens.
I'll do it for you. It's a lot.
This is what happens when you tell the truth. Ask Charlie Kirk what happens when you tell the truth. Just you can't ask Charlie Kirk, can you?
Ask JFK.
You know that I have people in my life that think he's still alive.
I know. My buddy just sent me a video, which I've heard many people talk about in our Charlie Kirk shows that we do, about how his head moved up when they're putting him in the SUV. So I haven't watched it intricately enough.
You can see the energy when he gets hit. That's not fake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The energy that hits it, you see his shirt kind of explode, and that's not fake.
I mean, there is Hollywood. I get it. I understand that they can make anything basically.
I guess you're right.
Real, so I understand. I understand that thought process.
I do too. I shouldn't even say that I know, because I don't know. You're right. Let me backtrack on that. It certainly seems real to me, and
yes,
we'll see. All right. People's Lobby Missouri. Again, I ask everybody, if you are a People's Lobby Missouri member, or you're somebody who cares about history, preserving history, and being a part of history, you're going to reach out to us for September the 18th tickets. We are going to have my next guest, Matt Thompson, and Phil Turney there. People's Lobby Missouri is your voice to confront your government, your puppet government. That we are your voice. We are going to ask the very difficult questions. We're going to get it on video, and then you can see how the people that are supposed to be representing us, how they treat us. If they're on your team, these will be easy questions for them to answer. If they're not on our team, that's going to be very obvious. And we are going to get in front of the movers and shakers in Washington, D.C. and Jefferson City and probably Tallahassee down here in Florida. And we're going to ask real questions. You're going to see what real checks on power look like. So join up for peopleslobbymo.com. Just go to the website, peopleslobbymo.com. Sign up. Donate. If you can. We prefer you donate, because listen, you're never going to beat the system unless you fund it. My buddy Jeff says it all the time. The truth is severely underfunded. And that's exactly the problem I've run into. It is underfunded because people are on cruise control. There's something not going to the top floor, and they see the world around them. They're watching it take shape, and they just don't want to do anything about it. It's apathy at its finest. Very strange to me. That's not my spirit. So I can't get with it. I don't understand it. peopleslobbymo.com. Sign up, donate, Be a part of the change that you desire. That's all I'll say about peopleslobbymo.com. September the 18th, mark it down. We found the venue. We're flying in our good friend Phil Turney. I think that is going to blow people's minds when they get to hear from him directly about his experiences. And again, Matt Thompson is going to be there to tell you about the Jeffrey Weinhaus case. You can ask him all the questions as well. Got real problems going on that we need to solve. GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com. This is our guy. This is Mr. Gary Schneider. Mr. Gary Schneider has a thriving business. I said, what makes it so great? He said, but for the grace of God, Rob, I would not have such a thriving business. This is anything trash, anything rubbish. GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com. If you see all the trucks and cans in St. Charles County, there's a reason for that. People like doing business with Gary. It's that simple. Outstanding customer service, competitive pricing, established business, been around since 1998. As a person, I could not recommend anybody higher. Gary Schneider, GraceHauling.com, commercial or residential, whether you have trash pickups, recyclables, yard waste, or bulk pickups, always think GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com. Let's move over to Valvoline because you're going to need an oil change at some point. And then when you get an oil change, what do? You just go to one of our advertisers. Again, this is our good friend, Tony Clark. Tony Clark will take care of your oil changes and your little maintenance problems at Valvoline Express Care. Valvoline Express Care. Locations, Isaiah, because everybody needs to know the locations. Before they even get the coupons, I got to know where to go. Here are the locations for you. I see it. There it is. Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Highland, Illinois. Troy, Illinois, Lemay Ferry Road, Warrenton, Missouri, Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, St. Peters Parkway. If you need coupons, Valvoline-Express Care, go to Valvoline-Express Care. Get yourself a coupon. Go get yourself an oil change when the time is right. 15 minutes from bay to on your way. Friendly service, no appointments, no sales pressure, all Valvoline-branded products. Got to love Tony Clark. I got to get into his wife's wig business, too. My mother had cancer. And when she was losing her hair, my mom was not worried about dying, to be honest with you. My mom was very brave, but she did not like losing her hair. That was the most traumatic thing throughout throughout her life, was when she had cancer and she started to lose her hair. My mom just was just devastated by it. We went out and got her 2 wigs, and her mood changed immediately. She did not want to see herself with no hair. It's just people that do this, but Tony Clark's wife does wig businesses, and I just got to tell you, for women, I didn't realize what a big deal it was. I know that I get nervous about the little getting thin, back here in the crown. That makes me a little uncomfortable. I cannot imagine what it does to some women, their psyche and their self-esteem when they lose their hair. So she's got a wig business. I'm going to start promoting that free of charge, just because I think it's such a wonderful service to people. But Valvoline Express Care, just great people. When it's time for an oil change, get out to Valvoline Express Care.
Yeah, I need to talk to Tony Clark. Need to get him connected to the developer here, see if there's any synergy there.
Yes,
about, building here in St. Clair. So need to reach out to him.
Did I get you his information yet?
I think you did. I think it's just that we have so many text messages that
okay. All right. I'll send it to you again.
Tony, if you're listening, friend me on Facebook. That's an easy way too.
He's opening up another location, and you can kind of see. To be honest with you, I've gotten my oil changes there. They're just friendly. It's just
everyone I talk to. I asked people here in St. Clair about it because I was kind of just seeing, hey, what do you think about Valvoline? They're like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing, because I love going to Valvoline. You pull in, it's really quick, get the oil change and you're done. And actually, one of the other aldermen, they have a bunch of fleet vehicles that they have for their business. Yep. She goes, yeah, I always take them to Valvoline because it's so quick.
Quick and easy.
So, and she's like, yeah, we need a Valvoline. Isaiah, you're right.
His tagline, 15 minutes from beta on your way.
Exactly.
Perfect. Let me get Rack Custom Coatings in as well. This is our good friend Rich McQuay. This is flooring. This is epoxy flooring. And I had it done. I absolutely loved it. Friends of the show just had it done. They absolutely loved it. This is for commercial spaces, bars, restaurants, schools, hangars, industrial space, you name
churches.
It. Rack Custom Coatings, churches, doesn't matter. And they can put designs on the flooring. It looks like tile. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's durable. It lasts forever. It's a fraction of the cost of doing other flooring projects. He's such a good dude, too. I really, really like this guy. Rich McQuay, locally owned and operated since 2001. Rich McQuay, Rack Custom Coatings, RAK Custom Coatings. Check out his work on the screen right now. You can reach him at 636-398-5040, 636-398-5040. Rack, RAK, CustomCoatings.com. All right, let's bring in Matt Thompson.
Let's do it.
He is the one who financed this, and these are the kind of people I like because he spent his own money to get this done. The documentary is just eye popping. I wonder how many people have seen it. I got to ask him that. Let's bring in Matt. Is he there?
Yeah, it looks like his camera's not on. I'm not sure if everything's working.
Even if can he hear me?
I'm not sure. I could bring him in here. Let's see.
Matt, are you there?
Yeah, it says I'm in with audio only. I don't know why.
We can do audio. It's not the worst thing. So
if you're able to click on the bottom there, there's a little microphone, and then there's a camera next to it.
Okay.
You should be able to click the camera to turn it on. Oh.
There we go.
It may be.
I think I just did it.
We'll see if you pop on. We'll be able to see you right away.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps telling me to get this guy on the show. Mitch Wexler.
There he is. Go.
We'll get Randall. We'll figure out how to get Mitch Wexler on. People keep asking me to get him on. I'm not really sure his story, but I'll try to get him on. Matt, thanks for joining us, brother. How are you? First of all,
I'm great, Rob. Thanks for having me on.
I wanted to thank you for financing this video. I did not know this story. I don't know what the word for it is. I'm outraged by what's going on, as I'm sure you are as well. That's why you put your money behind getting this information out to more and more people. Just very quickly, I'm going to play this video of Jeffrey Weinhaus, and then I want you to tell the story through your eyes. I'll add my perception of it. I want people to really understand the Jeffrey Weinhaus story. And I think I'm going to get some free Jeffrey Weinhaus shirts for our event that you're going to speak at on September the 18th. I'd like to see people wearing them around. Raise awareness. It's the only thing that happens good is when the government feels like you're very aware of their malfeasance. Because right now, you've got an obvious, don't you think? I mean, I've never met anybody, even in Franklin County, that disagrees with me. I've had attorneys look at it. I've had police, the police force look at it. I've had politicians look at it. Everybody says the same thing. Rob, we see what you're talking about. He's innocent, but it's already went to the Supreme Court. There's nothing we can do. Do you get the same thing, by the way?
Yeah, well, that's right, and I think it's going to take public pressure, because we've tried everything else. We've been trying this for 10 years, and it's gone through all the legal avenues that you're supposed to go through, and it's just been dismissed without cause, without reason, without ground. It's every time, and so we need to make people aware and get the public pressure.
It's maddening. It's maddening because you think you live in a country that has justice. And you have a video of what went down. It's completely opposite of what the officer who shot him says, right? Because you have his testimony, and you're like, well, that ain't what I'm watching. What happened? What are you talking about? He says that he told him to take his hand off the gun. That never happened. I mean, you got the audio right there. You can hear what he said. He shot him 4 times at point blank range, a non-violent person. It's maddening. It's just maddening. I get so frustrated with it. But I want to show this video to people, and I want to let me walk through it before we even show it, Isaiah, if we can get that ready. So Jeffrey Weinhaus, very quickly, independent journalist. He was uncovering some very what's the word for it? Controversial stories. Would you put it that way, Matt? About the judges, the system of justice in the state of Missouri, the Missouri Highway Patrol. He was really getting into the nitty gritty of things going on in the state of Missouri. And then they all of a sudden out of nowhere have these 2 cops knock on his door, and they want to talk with Jeffrey. And they said, one of them says they smell marijuana. The other one doesn't. And they get a search warrant. I just think about that right now. They got a search warrant for knocking on a man's door. He shouldn't even have opened the door, quite honestly, but he opened the door. And then a cop out of the blue says he smells marijuana, and they use that justification to get a search warrant to search his house. And then they're not looking for marijuana, which was the justification for the search warrant. They took his phones and computers. Now, if I'm guessing what happened, when they took his phones and computers, they started to recognize he had some information on there that wasn't too good for them. Now they're privy to this information. So now they're going to arrest him. And through the ruse of the arrest, they say that they need to meet him to give him his phones and his computers back. And they meet him at a filling station that they thought would be desolate. He shows up there, and 13 seconds after he gets out of his car, they shoot him twice in the chest and twice in the forehead, and then try to frame him as though he was the one that instigated everything. It is amazing that you can watch it unfold on video, and then they put this man in prison for 30 years, and nobody's coming to his help. Nobody's coming to his aid. It's bananas. Okay, here we go. This is a 1-hour documentary called, go ahead, Matt. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, to me, this is a cornerstone case for our society. Everything about what we think we have, a constitutional republic or democracy or that, this is a cornerstone foundational case. Because when you start looking into it, there can't be any doubt. They took Jeffrey Weinhaus out because he was criticizing authorities.
Period.
Period.
End of story. And that's why I keep telling, people in my life, they're interested in the story as well. And I said, I'm interested in it because I do the exact same thing. Well, shouldn't I be a little bit nervous when I'm doing the exact same thing as Jeffrey Weinhaus? I'm telling the government that your games and your schemes and your tax schemes and your bullying of citizens is not going to go on forever. People are going to be aware of it. And once they're aware of it, Katie barred the doors because people are coming. And they don't want to hear that. They don't like, we're going to have to answer to the people. We're not going to, Rob, we're not going to answer to the people. That would be crazy. And Jeffrey Weinhaus had the same spirit as I do. This is maddening. This is unconstitutional. This is immoral, what is going on in the state of Missouri. And there has to be justice on the side of the people, not the side of the power. Would you agree with that?
I agree. And, Rob, you might even get fired from your radio show, even though your audience.
Well, touche, if you will. All right, here is just a little snippet of the documentary The Silencing of Bulletin Man is the name of the documentary. I ask that everybody go to YouTube and watch it. How many so far, Matt?
Well, on various formats, I think it's up over 70,000. It's on several different places. But if you go to YouTube and search for Silencing of Bulletin Man, you should be able to find it.
Have you shopped this to like Netflix? Have you shopped it to Amazon Prime? I have some people in my life that are documentarians who've done business with Tubi. They've done business with these people. Have you shopped this around to see if you can get it on so it could be streamed onto my my channels?
Well, we were at this for 5 years, and we did have a production company that took the rights of it and was going to shop it to all the major networks. And they spent about a year trying to do that, and they would always get to the final meeting with Netflix or wherever, and something would happen. Somebody would get a phone call, and it would get quashed.
It's a big club, Matt, and you and I are not in the big club. So getting the truth out is very difficult to do. Here we go. This is just a little snippet. This is Jeffrey Weinhaus in his car. He's talking to, I believe, his ex-wife at the time or his wife. Was it his wife or ex-wife on the phone?
His ex-wife, yeah.
Okay, so he's talking to his ex-wife on the phone. He's already nervous to go meet with these cops. He was trying to get people to go with him because he was fearful for his life just to meet with these cops. He's saying a prayer, and then you're going to watch him pull up, watch how docile everything is, and then you'll hear the gunshots, and you'll get to see what he saw through his spy watch. Check this out.
The officers at the time, Jeff had the entire thing recorded on his spy watch.
9/11/2012, Sergeant H.J. Folsom called me back and supposedly they're going to give me my computers. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. They went to meet me at the gas station to get my computers back. But I'm looking for someone to fucking go with me. And you know what? These pastors around here, so just pray for me, okay? Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, I thank you, Lord, that no weapon formed against us shall prosper, Lord. Whatever these people are plotting, planning, if it's nefarious, Lord, if it's not of you, Lord, cancel it and cast it down in Jesus' name. I thank you, Lord, for exceedingly abundantly above all we could ever ask or think, Lord, as we loose the wealth of the wicked. Plead my cause, O Lord, that them would strive with me and fight against them and fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, Lord, and stand up for our defense. Stand up for our defense. Stand up for our defense. In Jesus' name we pray, and all God's children said, amen. All right, well, they're here, and I'm pulling in here. All right. Thank you, Lord. I praise your day, Jesus. Glorify you. How's it going, Jeff? Good, how are you?
You got the gun for?
Why did I got the gun? What you got the gun for?
Because I'm an authorized.
All right, well, I'm authorized to.
Get down on the ground. Get on the ground. Get down on the ground.
You're going to have to shoot me, man.
He still got the gun, Scott. I got him.
All right, that's good, Isaiah.
Police, FBI, Highway Patrol.
So witnesses said they watched an assassination attempt. They said that he was reaching for his gun, but if you slow that video down, you see that he's got a spy watch on his wrist, and you can see that his arms are above the car, so he can't have him down by his waist if his arms are above the car, and you can see that clearly. The officer said that he told Jeff to take his hand off of the gun. You got to see it right there. Did he say that? No, he didn't say that. He said that Jeffrey pulled into the gas station, was basically doing circles around the cops in a very threatening manner, kicked open the door and came at him like John Wayne, which everything that he said is an absolute lie. And they convicted this man, put him in prison for 30 years, and the charge is shooting at the cops. Am I right? His sound is down, Isaiah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a little bit confusing, but they ended up actually convicting him of shooting Officer Folsom. And of course, there's no ballistics, there was no gunfire, and there was no even reaching for a gun. Officer Folsom was never assaulted in any way.
It's amazing. And what's even more interesting about the story, for first-time listeners, this holster that he had it in was for skydiving. So you had to have two hands in order to get it open, which Folsom already knew. He said he had seen it, I think, during the search warrant. He knew that holster that he had took two hands to get the gun out. And Jeffrey Weinhaus was not going to take this gun. Just if you talk to him for even 2 seconds, you realize he's a very docile guy. He's trying to seek justice for people in Franklin County and for people in the state of Missouri. And he was exercising his constitutional right, open carry gun, because he was, he's a journalist that's covering some very corrupt people, is the way I would put it. So he wanted to have a gun on his side to make sure that people understood that he would be able to protect himself. And then they tried to frame him as though he was, Yosemite Sam trying to pull out his gun and shoot these people. It's just, the whole thing is so obviously a setup, so obviously assassination. It was an assassination attempt. And I don't understand how they get away with it in the state of Missouri. I thought Missouri was the show me state. I thought we had common sense people. I thought we had politicians that actually cared about justice. I thought we had a justice system that had some sense of what justice really means. I thought we had, I thought one political party or the other would take it up just for political, because it's such an obvious case. You just take it up and you'll get some brownie points just for covering it. Nothing. Am I right? I mean, there's been absolutely there's no interest. There's nothing from the state of Missouri that has been able to free or clear the name of Jeffrey Weinhaus.
Well, that's right. And, he's gone through all the proper procedures. He's filed habeas cases. He's filed it all the way to the Missouri Supreme Court, all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. It's not like, at times he was representing himself because he had no money, but recently he's got some of the best lawyers in the state of Missouri working pro bono to try to present this thing. And it just gets dismissed without cause, without reason, without hearing. We're supposed to have a constitutional right. The Missouri Constitution says that the right to habeas corpus shall never be suspended. But you effectively don't have the right to habeas corpus if they can dismiss it without ever letting the chief justices of the Supreme Court of Missouri never even looked at it, just dismissed by the clerk of the court.
What do you think is the reason behind it? And I was talking to Jeffrey from prison, and I said, Jeff, who's behind this? He originally thought it was Governor Jay Nixon. That's who he thought it was. And I said, so what is the process now? And he said, the only thing the only thing that will get me out of prison, and he believes he's going to get out of prison. He's very optimistic when you talk to him. He said, is I have to get clemency from Governor Kehoe. And I said, have you tried? He goes, well, Governor Kehoe won't do it. He's a Mason. First thing he said to me, he goes, he won't do it. He's a Mason. He's implying that there is these secret societies. I just had G. Edward Griffin on my show, and he said the world is ruled by secret societies. He goes, I used to think that was crazy, but there is a secret group of people that kind of runs the money, runs the operation all around the world. And when he said that to me, and I found out that he is a Mason, so are many people in the Missouri government, I said, there has to be something that is stopping an obviously free man from being released from prison. Have you had those conversations with him? Do you think this has something to do with, I don't want to say, it sounds cliche to say secret societies, but a secret group of people that just, he's too dangerous and therefore he can never get out of prison?
Well, I talk to Jeff every day now. I started going to see him in 2017, and, he agrees with you and I about most things. and he's a very religious and devout man.
Yep.
But I would just say this about that you're just questioning me about. This happened under a Democratic administration. It's been covered up by a Republican administration. Senior members of the Republican Party, committing blatant Brady violations. And if you ask the Attorney General's office, in the last 70 years, they've never made a mistake, right? I mean, they're humans, aren't they? Both parties it's supposed to be a competitive thing with different people trying to expose the other, but it's not. It's just this behemoth, and they never make any mistakes, and they're always right. And the system is designed to protect the system rather than the rights of the individual.
100%. Tell the story of when you went down to meet with Jeffrey, and then you ended up getting arrested. Tell people that story, just what happened in your experience.
Well, in I guess it was February of 2019, I had been visiting Jeff. I probably go down and see him in person, once every 2 or 3 weeks, and talk to him on the phone every day. Jeff got put in the hole because he was getting on podcasts like this and talking about what happened to him. And they said that that was illegal against jail rules, and he couldn't make any videos or join us today and talk about his victim, Sergeant Folsom, who shot him. And so he was in the hole for that. And then other issues came up, and he got put in the hole. And he had a federal habeas case going on at the time. This was February of 2019. And, I was trying to contact him, and I couldn't. And, he couldn't call out. He couldn't even call his lawyer. And this went on for about 3 weeks. And I was scheduled to go for my normal visit down to the jail. So I just went. They said, no, you can't see Jeff. And I said, well, even if he's in the hole, these hardened criminals in the hole, at least you can go, they have like a special room where you can go behind the bulletproof glass and talk to him on the phone. No, you can't talk to Jeff Weinhaus, and neither can his lawyer. And I'm like, well, we kind of need proof that he's still alive. We do need proof that he's still alive. And I need to see the warden. And, the warden came down and said, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a lawyer. It's none of my business. I need to leave. And so I left and went to, it was like a Hardee's restaurant there in Bonne Terre, Missouri, and was contacting people about what was going on. And they came to that Hardee's restaurant and arrested me. They said I was, was a felony violation of harassing jail staff and so forth. And those charges, eventually they got it back to trespassing. I was trespassing, even though, I'd gone through all the rigmarole to become a approved visitor and background checks and all that. They said that I was trespassing. And so,
you don't seem the kind of person. You don't seem the kind of person that would be causing trouble. I've talked to you several times on the phone. You're very methodical in your words. You don't seem like the kind of person like me. Like if I got arrested for trespassing or raising my voice or a ruckus, people would all understand it. I don't see you doing that. Did you do anything that was that would have warranted them coming after you, or is it just a sign to shut your pie hole? Be a little careful, tiptoe around here a little bit. Was it an intimidation, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't intentionally breaking any rules. I was taught as a child not to do that, and I still, although I become a critic of the establishment, I try not to give them an opportunity by breaking a rule or something. And so I didn't think I was, and yeah, but they can.
Did you do anything that was violent or scare them?
You know what, Rob? That really woke me up, because I spent the night in a cell there, crowded cell with 7 people, and no way to even lay flat, and then they held that over my head. Now I was in a position maybe more as a sort of self-employed type of person that I could deal with this, but most people couldn't, because the day I was arrested, I could no longer pass a background check. I couldn't get a regular job anywhere. And, that they held that they never proved I was guilty of anything. They held it over my head for 2.5 years. And finally, 3 days before it was supposed to go to trial, they dropped the charges. Uh, well, that would destroy a lot of people in our current system.
Wow, I didn't even realize it went.
And while it's up in the air, you really are sort of guilty until.
I did not know all that went on. So you were arrested, put in jail overnight, and then they drugged it out
Yeah.
for 2.5 years, threatening you.
No, no, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I only spent one night in jail, and then they released me. But I was still to where I couldn't get a regular job. I had that hanging over my head, this felony charge against me, and it's in the old days. You could still work, and it was no big deal. But nowadays, with all this electronic, background checks to do anything, you really they can really put the pressure on somebody to plea, even though they're not guilty.
Wow. Well, yeah. Is there any? Have there been any politicians? Have there been any major, maybe a celebrity of sorts that will bring more attention? Have you tried actors, sports figures, politicians, anybody that has a big platform to bring more awareness to Jeffrey Weinhaus? And has first of all, have you tried? And I guess second, have you had any success?
Yeah, we've tried, a lot of celebrities, and of course, Jeff calls people all the time. He's been in touch with a few people, uh, marginally famous. You know, there's a property rights activist from the West called Ammon Bundy that brought Jeff's case to the Libertarian National Party a few months ago, and several others have tried to help. In Missouri politics, basically no one. There was a guy that ran for governor a few years ago on the Republican ticket, called Dr. Neely, and he knew about Jeff's case and had committed to pardoning Jeff. But the establishment wasn't going to let him win that primary.
Have you had any contact with the people of Franklin County? We have Isaiah is an alderman in St. Clair. We know a lot of people in Franklin County. We have advertisers in Franklin County. I love, and I think it's beautiful out there. Why no politicians like Simmons, Ben Brown? There's several of them out there. Have they given you? Because I've told Ben Brown, I got it right to him. I've never heard another word back. It almost feels like there's a sense of fear, like nobody wants to touch this thing because it's too hot. It's very odd that you have politicians that are fearful to even take a win. They don't even want to take the win. They steer clear of it. Have you had any luck with people in Franklin County?
Well, several years ago, I think it was, I can't even remember, 2020, maybe 2021, we did an open public meeting down there and I presented some of the information I had about this case to the public. But there was a little community of people that care about Jeff and were trying to help. But they've been able to kind of quash this and keep it out of the news. And there's a lot of people, if you go down there, and you mentioned the name Jeff Weinhaus, they kind of hang their heads and walk away. They don't want to they don't want to get involved in this because they're scared. And even in that video that we made, there's an eyewitness called Marty Leach, and he said, that when the lawyer first questioned him the next day and they asked him about it, he didn't know Jeff was still alive, and he said, "That effing execution, you mean? That's
Right.
exactly what it was. He had both hands in, and he was very strong on it." And to this day, Rob, we don't know where Marty is. We can't find him. We can't talk to him. He's hiding if he's alive.
So the one person that was the witness, and he's on that documentary. He said they asked him the question. He goes, "What do you mean, the execution?" He goes, "Yeah, I watched it." And he tells the story. Because Jeff told me that too. Jeff said, I said, "Well, where is this guy? If he was able to witness it and saw it firsthand and says your hands were above your head, then that kind of blows the prosecution's case away." I think you can see it on the videotape. I mean, if you freeze frame it, you can see that his hands are above the roof of the car, which means they're definitely not on his. And he wasn't. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous, but it clearly proves that he didn't have his hand on a weapon. I guess the eyewitness to it just disappeared. There's some pressure on him, and then he just disappeared, and nobody knows where he's at. No family, no anything.
Well, that's right. I mean, I think they're obviously engaging in witness tampering. I can't prove it, but if they aren't engaging in witness tampering, where's Marty Leach?
And you've been trying to contact him for how long now? I assume you've given up by now, but there must have been a time where you guys were trying to track him down.
7 or 8 years. Yeah. I mean, I even went and tried to locate him at his address, and, it's a bit scary driving in those hills down there and stuff. But, I made my presence known to him, and he doesn't want to talk if he's alive. I don't know where he is.
Gotcha. And then the other thing, I just want to some facts of the case for people that might want to help. We need help. We need to get this man out of prison. As far as I'm concerned, it is for society. It is for justice. If this is an obvious one. This is not like, well, maybe he did this this man is sitting in 30 years in prison for being a journalist. That's what he's been in prison for being a competent journalist who said some things and made some veiled threats, which the FBI said were completely legal, his constitutional right to say. And I think they assassinated him because he had information they didn't want coming out, and they did not like his demeanor, and they didn't like the way he was going. So they said, let's just eliminate him. We'll tell our story. We'll do whatever we need to do. Unfortunately for them, he lived. I think that's the only thing. They shot him twice at point blank range. Shot him twice in the head and twice in the chest. I think the only saving grace was that he survived it to tell the story, and here we are.
Well, you know what, Rob? I can prove that what you just said is absolutely true, because Sergeant Folsom gave a deposition in another case. It was the case of Doc Nash, which Sergeant Folsom, who eventually got his conviction overturned because Sergeant Folsom had fabricated evidence. But they asked Sergeant Folsom directly in this case, in this deposition, and he said that they knew that Jeff Weinhaus had done nothing illegal, but he was ordered to go after Jeff in order to shut him up and make him stop YouTube videos. So he decided that he knew that Jeff had done nothing illegal, but yet he got an arrest warrant and arrested him on trumped up charges. And that's in the court record.
Did he say who instructed him to do that? Was it
the assistant attorney general was his lawyer, Patrick Sullivan, sitting there listening to this man say, that the highway patrol ordered me to silence this critic, and he did nothing. Either Sergeant Folsom committed perjury, or he's guilty of deprivation of rights under color of law.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Wasn't Folsom also on Ambien and some other kind of pain medicine? Wasn't he also on some drugs that would be playing with the mind? Wasn't that later found out?
Yeah, that's right. It came out when Sergeant Folsom sued the state of Missouri because they dismissed him. It turns out that they never allowed him to work another day after the day that he shot Jeff, and he stayed on approved leave for about a year and a half until all Jeff's trial was over and Jeff was convicted, and then they dismissed him, and he sued the state for dismissing him. And in that trial, it eventually came out that he was under these psychotropic drugs for post-traumatic stress disorder, and that he never revealed that to the defense team. And in fact, he testified under oath at Jeff's trial that he was not on any medication. So, the prosecution knew this, and they withheld exculpatory information.
And nobody will do anything for you?
No.
So we went through Nixon, Parson, and now Kehoe, and they've done nothing for him. Did I miss anybody?
Well, there's more, but yeah, as governor, that's right.
And how did Josh Hawley play part of this? Greitens also. I thought Greitens was trying to help. Somebody told me, and then Jeff said, no. That's not true. Somebody told me that they thought Greitens was trying to help, and then I asked Jeff about that, and he said it had something to do with his wife. I can't remember what it was, but Greitens didn't do anything either. What about Hawley? Because he said something about Josh Hawley, and I can't remember what it was, but Josh Hawley was involved in this. Was he the attorney general at the time?
Yeah, Josh Hawley was the attorney. He wasn't involved in the original case. He had nothing to do with it, but that's part of what I was talking about. The whole system protects each other. And Josh Hawley was attorney general whenever Jeff was bringing this federal habeas case against the state for wrongful conviction. And at the same time, Josh Hawley, as Attorney General, was the respondent in Folsom's case against the Highway Patrol for dismissing him. So Folsom was sitting on, Hawley was sitting on all this information that Folsom was on psychotropic drugs and he lied under oath, and all this exculpatory information that would have helped acquit Jeff and helped Jeff win that habeas case. And, he didn't reveal it. And, that's a Brady violation.
Have you reached out to current Attorney General Catherine Hanaway? Have you had any correspondence with her?
I've tried. I've never really got past the gatekeeper. I've tried with the other attorney generals. When Eric Schmidt was in there, I wrote him and he wrote me back, and he said that, my job is to protect the agencies. You need to get Jeff Weinhaus a different lawyer, and, I'm going to back the agencies all the way. Basically, that's my job. I told him, I threw off this.
Eric Schmidt, who was just playing golf with Scheffler and making diving catches in the outfield in his ball games, thought it was more important to protect the institutions than it was the individual liberties of the citizens he was voted into office to protect. Is that the way I understand it?
That's right. Yeah. I've got the letter.
Incredible. You've got the letter of that? I'd like to, I've got to get that letter public. You've got to show me that letter because we're going to be in Washington, D.C. We're going to ask these questions. Man, thank you for putting so much effort into it. I know you're just a regular citizen. You didn't know Jeffrey Weinhaus. You see injustice and you're trying to put your money behind and your energy behind getting this man out of prison. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to drive everybody in the state of Missouri bananas when I go down to Jefferson City and talk to them about this. We're going to Washington, D.C. We're going to ask people down there about it. And I just ask that more people get involved. Is there a letter writing campaign? Can we do anything of that nature? Do you have any should we organize that maybe at the next meeting on September the 18th, where more and more people are aware of it, sending letters in and trying to get somebody to answer these letters?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. We can talk about that then. There is a site that we can provide where people can sign a petition. We've got an online petition going that's got lots of signatures already. But yeah, I think that's what's needed. We're going to have to put public pressure to get this thing resolved.
It is the only way. What's the website? If you can't remember, no worries.
I'll have to provide it like in the comments or something.
If you don't mind, send me a text and then we'll get it up on the screen.
Okay. Yep.
All right, Matt. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for sharing your story with us. We're going to do everything we can to help you get Jeffrey Weinhaus out of prison. I think it's just an abhorrent situation, and I appreciate you, just as a regular citizen, getting involved and spending your money and time and energy to seek justice. We appreciate it.
I think this is the website. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it right there. You got it. Yep.
Great.
What's the name of it, Isaiah?
It's change.org. So if you just search for free Jeff Weinhaus, change.org. If you Google that, that's what popped up for me.
Change.org. Okay. All right, Matt, I'll be in touch with you September the 18th. I got you penciled in there. So on September 18th, we're going to keep the Jeffrey Weinhaus story in front of a lot of people. We're going to have some politicians in there, I hope. They might back out now that you're going to be there, but we're going to try to get him there. And then we'll have Phil Turney, who's also got an injustice going on. And we'll start to talk about injustice and how we overcome it as a people.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on, Rob.
You got to have a great day, my friend.
Okay.
All righty. Oh, Isaiah. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I saw Steamin' Demon, who lives here in St. Clair. I know him. And he said it makes me sick to watch that. I drive by that spot all the time. And I mean, I was, kind of blown away as soon I'm just driving, going to a friend's house, Rob, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the gas station. I saw it out of the side of my eye going to a friend's house, and I was like, man, that is just, I can't believe how close it is to my house.
It's abandoned now, right?
Yeah. They had a, like the Grace hauling big dumpsters, right? They had one of those out front.
That's one that
Lieutenant Governor Wassinger can help us in some ways. Getting, he seemed receptive to the idea of talking about it, and I have hope about that because we talked to him about cameras in the Senate. Sorry, not flock cameras, cameras in the Senate, and now he just came out and talking about how that's going to be a big priority for the next legislative session is getting cameras in the Senate, and so that gives me a little bit of hope, right? Not a lot of hope, right? But when we've got all this bad, I guess you could say, it's when we can have a tiny sliver of hope. I like to grab onto it a little bit.
I don't know. I'm just that
But
one.
it's been what, 8? How many years?
That one's been so concerning to me. I see myself through the lens of Jeff Weinhaus. I understand where he's coming from. He, would I go
And
about it the
Matt,
way?
well, how long was that case dragging
Yeah.
on? 2 years, he said?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they went after him as well. And it's just I see a lot of similarities. He's a guy that believes in justice. He was not in it for the money. When I said, how did you keep, because he was on radio, then he was doing his programs on YouTube. He interviewed Ed Martin on his old show. And he said, uh, you just look at it and you say, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I might not go about it exactly the way Jeff Weinhaus did, but it's not about the money. You're not chasing money around. He said, Rob, most of the advertisers that did business with me, he said it was just it was a barter situation. I would advertise for them on my stations and they would give me free cigarettes, or they would give me free auto repair, or they would, he said it was never about money. It was about justice. And once I got close to justice, this is basically what happened. It's a really depressing story. And I just wish that more people would keep it in the front of their mind and start to help, because, but for the grace of God, there go I, there go Isaiah, there go you. And when something like that horrific to you happen, the injustice like that happens to you or somebody in your family, don't you want your society to come to your aid? Don't you want people to get so angry that they come to your aid? That's not happening in the state right now. And it blows my mind because I love Missouri so much. I love the people. I think they're good-hearted people, decent people, Christian people. Where are the Christians that allow a fellow Christian to be assassinated? He gets it all on video. They put him in prison for something he demonstrably didn't do. And nobody comes to his rescue. No politicians. The people aren't standing out in front of the courthouses. Just nothing is happening. It's very strange to me. Let's do some advertising. Let's bring in Rob and Theodora. All right. Carrington Financial. YourCaringAdvisor.com. This is Rick Babitz. You can see him every Tuesday. He was really getting after it yesterday. Rick Babitz is the financial advisor for our show, 314-671-0525. I always say get a second, get a third, get a fourth opinion, but you will not get anybody's opinion like Rick Babitz. I think he's a financial genius. He says biblical principles with your money. All I know is that he's honest. He cares about your financial situation. He's somebody that you kind of get enveloped into his personality. You become friends with him. But he will do a great job of protecting and extending your retirement with money. Okay. That is if you're nearing retirement and you're wondering what a dollar is going to be worth 10 years from now, you might want to get the opinion of Rick Babitz. YourCaringAdvisor.com, 314-671-0525, 314-671-0525, YourCaringAdvisor.com. And by the way, Isaiah, I don't know if you got to hear him yesterday. He told me that he was not seeing us on his, I think he said Rumble. He goes, "You're not showing up anymore on my Rumble. When I go to seek you out, I don't see it." He said
I think he was talking about what I didn't pin it to the top of the Rumble channel, which I usually do. That's what people usually mean when they say that.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm going to ask him because I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah. I've had that before, and that's what they typically mean is
so it's just not populating to the top. They got to go down.
Yeah, because I didn't select a button that I usually do, and that was my fault. So not Rick's fault.
Honey, will you dock his pay?
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure that we dock his pay a little bit. RocketCareers.com, ROCKIT careers.com, RocketCareers.com. Again, very quickly, small to medium-sized businesses, talent recruiting, getting good candidates before you so you have talent within your business. Nobody better than RocketCareers.com. This is a small business that turned into a big business, nationwide network. They will help all small to medium-sized businesses find good candidates to make sure that their business runs smoothly with people that adhere to their business ideology. Terrific business. And again, if you're out of work, hate your job, always reach out to RocketCareers.com because they will help you with their network launch a new career. Out of work, hate your job, small to medium-sized businesses looking for talent. All of those things are handled by RocketCareers.com, RoCKIT careers.com. My good friends, Mitch and Brian, 636-778-2419, 636-778-2419. All right, let's bring in Rob and Theodora. see if I can get saying this name properly, because we're going to talk about dirty energy today, which is something Rob is completely obsessed with getting this information out to people, because not many people talk about it, and people need to know. Welcome to the show, Theodore. Welcome to the show, Rob. And then you got somebody else by your side. So we got 3 people. Who we got there?
It's my electrician. So he works on the house. So he goes to the homes, and actually people have been polluted by these extremely low frequencies, and he can rewire the house a specific way and go through the panels a specific way to reduce that exposure, especially the exposure that's going to be caused from the data centers that's now going to intrude and pollute and trespass in our house.
Well, the data centers, as you're very well aware, is going to, if we don't vote for AI data centers and we don't implement AI hyperscale data centers, we're not going to be able to use AI. So no matter if it kills us or not, we have to have it. Rob, I don't know if you know the story.
Yeah, we already have 5,000 data centers already. I think we have enough, and China has 350. So I think we're ahead of the whole entire world altogether. So that would definitely be one of the propaganda for the wrestlers at the chase.
I refuse to believe that our government would do anything that would be harmful to my health. I just don't believe it. They're benevolent people. They're wonderful people. They create justice and wealth for everybody in America. Rob.
Yeah, I guess
I got to get my sarcasm shirt. So people know. I got one, and my wife bought it for me. She said it's fluent in sarcasm, so I've got to get that shirt. All right. So where do you want to start today? How do you want to go about this? I know you had a slide presentation. You tell me how you want to go about it, because I want you to explain what dirty energy is, how it works, and what it does. So you tell me where you want to start.
Let's have Theodora go first.
Theodore, welcome to the show, Theodore. Nice to see you.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
You got it.
So I guess I direct the wireless and EMF program at Environmental Health Sciences, and we're focused on data centers, not just for the noise pollution, the water contamination, the air pollution, but also the electromagnetic fields. That is an issue that most people are not addressing in their community when they feel blindsided and they pack the halls asking for more protective regulations. The issue of electromagnetic fields is a really important one that needs to be addressed. And there are 2 aspects to this. And I know Robert can talk about it, having worked on homes directly impacted. But there's the harmonics from the facility and the computers and the electrical systems in it. But there's also the power line electromagnetic fields. So new massive 765 kV lines are being built across the country in states, coast to coast, where these massive new lines are cutting through farms, through backyards, through parks, and they're bringing power to serve the data centers. And that is also creating an electromagnetic field. So those are 2 issues that we're focused on, in addition to all the other environmental health issues.
And what is the effect on the human body? Is it the mind? Is it the body? Is it the blood? What is it that is affected?
It really, if you think about it, this exposure is to the full body. So you're going to have a myriad of effects, a broad range of effects. For magnetic fields, which are the power lines, electromagnetic fields, there is study after study linking exposure to childhood leukemia. And these are at levels that are much lower than what industry says is safe. Industry has a level that allows 9,100 milligauss as an example, and whereas the level that shows childhood leukemia is at 3 to 4 milligauss. And in fact, exposures lower have found an effect. Just recently, a study on millions of people in Switzerland found increased Alzheimer's death. And that was at a level that was that low as well, in fact, a little bit lower. So there's studies showing impacts to reproduction, increased miscarriage. And really, there's a stress on the body, a cellular stress that has been documented in many studies. However, industry is also funding research. Their studies more often show no effect, or those effects are downplayed. So there is not a consensus of safety. And the thing that I think shocks people, let's say you find out you get a notice in the mail, there's a high voltage power line coming behind your house. What they say is, well, what's the safe level? Well, in the United States, we never set a safety standard for this kind of radiation. Now, how did that happen? That happened back in the 90s when the Environmental Protection Agency, which was working on setting a limit, was completely defunded on this issue. So instead, the industry's been able to say, look, we've got our limit, and that allows 9,100. And there's another limit that's actually at 2,000, the ICNIRP limit. So that's what we use. And the government has no safety limits for this.
Were you able to chart? Because I don't remember a lot of Alzheimer's and dementia amongst people in my life when I was a young person. I go back and I look at it. I had babysitters, I had people in my life, grandmas, grandpas. I don't remember many people. I can't remember any back in those days that were losing their faculties and Parkinson's. I just don't remember that as a child. I remember who was it? The actor got Parkinson's. I can't think of his name, and it became Michael J. Fox. And it became, a little bit bigger. And then I saw Alzheimer's start to happen a little bit more often, more dementia starting to happen, more autism starting to happen. And everybody has their theories. Is it the vaccines? Is it the water? Is it the air quality? Is it the processed foods? What is it? Do you think it's a combination of things? And has it been charted that, okay, here is where we're starting to build technology that has, is there any data to support that as this started to grow, the ailments started to grow at the same time? Is there anything that shows a correlation between what you're talking about and physical illness?
Well, there certainly are charts that have shown that. Sometimes they're called diseases of civilization. As you looked at electrifying communities, there's increases in various chronic diseases. But those are correlations. So yes, that the book by Sam Milham. And it's the experimental studies where you can control the exposure, where they've also found these effects. So there are hundreds of scientists that say that the science shows there are adverse biological effects at levels below what industry says is safe. And yet industry will say, well, it's not proven. I mean, that's how it plays out in hearings.
Yeah, the industry buys the science. We had a guy that was talking about polling. He was with Rasmussen Polling. We had him on the show the other day, and he said the polling is just, the polling is purchased by campaigns, and then the campaigns want certain polling, and that you need to get to the polling numbers they appreciate because you want to continue to get a check for them. He said, so they manipulate the questions, they manipulate all kinds of information in order to get to polling information they need. I would assume this is the same way. If the industry says, we're going to spend a bunch of money to make sure that our science works on our behalf so we can expand our industry, you're just buying the science. Is that pretty much what you think is going on?
I do think that's going on in that published papers have actually looked at that systematically and found that when industry funds a study, it more often shows no effect. Whereas when it's independently funded, it more often shows an effect. And Dr. Carpenter did a very important review on the kind of extremely low frequencies that we're talking about right now. And he concluded that once you pull away the industry-funded science, it's quite clear that there are these associations, especially for childhood leukemia.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge is that there's not funding for the independent research as much as there really needs to be. I mean, that really, you could find out like what are we researching in the United States? Ask your elected officials, what's being studied or what funding is there for this issue?
And I bet you get very little response to it. I was going to tell Robb, I don't know if I've told you this, Robb, I may have, you were on the show when I did the radio show, you were on the show for the first time. And you started explaining all of the dirty energy and what these 5G towers could do. And, you can get into whatever you want to talk about today. And a buddy of mine is my best friend in the world. Big guy, 6'3", 220 pounds, muscles on top of muscles without ever working out. That's just the way he was built, like Superman to me when I was a kid. And he started calling me, I moved to Florida, and he's somebody that I talk to on a regular basis. And he started complaining that he felt like his body was dying. He couldn't understand what was happening. He had these big muscles, big biceps, and this and the other, because Robb's a workout guy. He knows. And then I come back and see him, and he takes off his shirt, and it looked like he was shrinking away to nothing, like he had cancer. And I said, dude, what is going on? I go, what do you weigh now? And he goes, I'm down to 191 pounds. This is a 225-pound guy that lost 35 pounds in like 2 months. He said he was sitting in the tub. He was trying to change his diet. He's going to these doctors. He's going to holistic doctors. He's trying to get, I think they want to put him on Humira. He's on all these different things. he hears my conversation with Robb. He said, and then he invited me over to his house. I come out and he goes, hey man, he goes, I was thinking about that conversation you were having with that guy on your show. And he walks out his door and right across the street within 115, 120 feet, there's a big 5G tower right above his house. And it's a rental home. And he said, I just wonder if that's what it is, because nobody can explain what is happening to me. And I thought, I'd certainly have to look into it, have to figure something out here, because he was withering away to nothing. And then he has changed his diet. He's made some changes and he's feeling better. But it just made me wonder if there's a lot of people that are getting sick because of these issues that they don't even think about. It's not even on their radar. Robb, what do you say to that?
Well, that's exactly what I went through. That was my indicator that something was wrong, because you are electromagnetic machines. And that's why it's very important we're talking about the extremely low frequencies, because these are frequencies that people can't hear, smell, or taste, but it's going to be generated by the big bad beast right now, which is from data centers, from the variable speed motors to the switchable power supplies, and then now you're going to get into solar. And what people don't realize is the grid, the electrical grid, is the only corporation in the world that can use your yard as a sewage plant. So they don't actually use just the grid for it to work. They actually use the ground as a way for it to work, because the neutral, which is the sewage plant or the sewage extension to leave the house, all the current, I call it the sewage, to make it put in perspective here, it's not big enough. It became obsolete in about 1990 because of all the nonlinear loads. And because it's not big enough, they use the ground as a way for the current to go back to the substations or the power plant. And when you have that current riding on the ground, because of the way there's a flaw in the grid, It's a three wire system, should be a 4-wire system like they do in Russia and like they do in Europe. If they did it that way, we wouldn't have these problems. So because it's grounded at the transformer with the neutral and ground, you have at the house is grounded at the neutral and ground, we have a path, we have a circulation, we have a loop in this system. So all that junk that's on the grid that shouldn't be there is getting on people's houses, coming up through the ground, through the transformer, back into the home, or just going up your grounding system or your water pipe. So because of these negligence, the way that's actually completed, my clients are getting sick. And with me and my electrician, we go to people's homes and eliminate these magnetic fields, electrical fields, and current that comes in through sources of the house that shouldn't be coming through, like the water pipe, and in some cases even the neutral, and of course the two different legs. So what we need to do is a complete robust change of the grid, spending 1.5 trillion on the grid, not on war, fix the grid, get people healthy again, because when people are healthy, you're not very controllable. So I have a very firm belief that this is done intentional. And I also have a very firm belief that the Havana Center, what happened in Russia with the
Cuba,
our embassies. Excuse me?
Was it Cuba or Russia? The Havana Center.
Well, Russia, Cuba too.
Okay.
But I'm more into the Russia. I know someone's been there actually in person, has secret clearance. Okay, Graham's. I think Graham's Setzer. So he actually worked for the United States Air Force. Has secret clearance. He got invited to go to Russia because he was into dirty power, and they allowed him to go to Russia to review some of the documents. I haven't seen the document. It's just all through hearsay, but this came from a very strong source. He said, without any question in his mind, how could you be so stupid to radiate people through a big, thick wall when all you got to do is use the wires? He said they're more than likely using radio waves, which is the same radio waves that your data centers will create, all the switchable power supplies, all the variable speed motors, and then, of course, your solar and your inverters created from all your different smart devices, including your smart cars. It creates radio waves below the 100 kilohertz that rides on these wires and comes off 6 to 9 feet. So until we fix the grid, because it's obsolete, there's no reason to put any more stress on a grid that can't even handle what they have there already. It's been obsolete since 1990. And that was actually a quote from Graham Setzer himself.
Who do you solicit? So when you talk to the government, I've been to Jefferson City. These are not the sharpest people in the world. What you're talking about is very complicated and probably very costly, and it would affect the donors that keep them in power. So I got to imagine you're in a tough bind trying to get anything done. If you go to the energy companies themselves, I can't imagine they'd want to do anything because they're built on profit. A very tough hill to climb to get anything done. Have you found that to be the case?
Well, basically, you don't do this to necessarily win. You do this to make them fumble. That's what you do it for. And I think even Dr. Shiva might be coming on tomorrow. A lot of things you do, I didn't do this to win because I knew what I was up against, but I did it to fumble. I got them to admit that the grid is obsolete there in person. And I got them to admit they don't have any safety studies for this dirty power to say that it's safe. And I got them to admit that they realize that everybody is actually trespassing on each other with an obsolete grid. That was the whole purpose of me going down there.
And the cost to redo the entire grid in the United States of America, somebody must have estimated 1.5 trillion.
Well, I do think that would do a really good job. I don't know the exact number in order to fix the grid, but that'd do a really good job. Put a lot of great people employed versus increasing our dollar by a bunch of bombs. Why don't we increase our dollar by going and making a really strong grid? Then it makes the population stronger, healthier, and then you're not supporting the failing institution, which is the pharmaceutical industry.
And you've given your whole life to this thing, so you probably have some insight. I was listening. I always talk about Catherine Austin Fitts. I don't know if you pay attention to her or not. She said that just recently the United States government is mandating, or the military is mandating, mRNA vaccines to sailors. And she said they already know that these things are poisonous. She goes, so the only thing that makes any sense is they're doing this because they want sailors to be sick. They want the population to be sick. They want to reduce population. She goes, other than that, it wouldn't make any sense. She goes, these people have the same access to information as I do. They know that these mRNA vaccines, or the genetic therapies, whatever you want to call them, are poisonous to the human body. And yet they're mandating them to our own military at the time of war. And she goes, and the only thing that would make any sense is they don't really care. They want to make people sick. That kind of is where you're coming from. I mean, do you think that this is something that is intentional? Do you think
I'm going to say it. No one else will say it. I'm going to say it's intentional. There's no way you can be that stupid. I mean, you have a ground rod. It's impossible. You have to be a complete moron. That's why Russia doesn't do it. And that's why Europe doesn't do it. Matter of fact, Putin said to one of Dr. Klinghart's students who was actually at a speaking engagement, where Putin says, I don't have to attack America. They're attacking themselves. He didn't say 5G. He didn't say wireless. He said electricity. Because he knows what's going on. When they did the poisoning at the Russian embassy, or the Americans embassy in Russia, I'm pretty convinced they both are in on it together. They're both like wrestlers. They said, let's do an experiment. Let's bring in 3 generations of Americans, poison them different routes, find out which frequencies work better at poisoning. And I think they found out the best way to poison everybody would be through the electrical grid.
Wow.
That's my hypothesis. And that's my theory. My hypothesis is that's it. That's what they're doing. Because that's the perfect way of doing it. You can control the population by poisoning to the grid. They use the grid every day. There's no way to get away from it. And then from a spiritual standpoint, we're trespassing on everybody, and everybody's cheering for it.
And
fiber optics, even fiber optics, the EMFs are inside the fiber, but it creates a subatomic chaos outside the fiber, and that's why we're getting people who have immune systems that are intact. They can feel it. My canaries, I call them. They're getting sicker now. The fiber goes in.
Are you getting any help from anybody? Is there anybody in government or anybody that has any power that is joining your team to say, hey, we got to get this solved. We got to bring awareness to it?
Well, I have to say the Senator on the Moon is probably the most robust. I guess he actually kind of walked over. I first seen him speak downtown St. Charles, I believe, at the soda factory. I mentioned about smart meters and EMFs, and he was, you got to talk to my chief of staff, Jeff Mark. He'll help you with this. He chased me down to give me his car. I actually walked away because I was like, I'm not worried about all this stuff because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to make him fumble, but I'm not interested in somebody telling me something he's not going to follow through. But he did. I actually got a hold of Senator Moon on the way to bury his brother. He talked to me for 2 hours on the phone about the smart meters and the problems we have right now about EMFs. Well, and again, the smart meter is part of the extremely low frequencies too. Switchable power supplies. It's all interconnected. And then he hooked me up with Dr. Jeff Marks, who met me at the Public Service Commission down in Jeff City. And I sat there in front of all the utilities, explained to them what was going on, how I was injured, what's happening to my clients. And they, it's like a fake wrestling match that I get to do my little thing. And at the end of the day, nothing ever happens.
It's funny because you mentioned Mike Moon. You must have met Mike Moon at my People's Lobby, Missouri meeting. Is that where you met him at?
I did. That's where I met him.
Okay. And Mike Moon is my favorite senator because I think he actually does care about people. He's one of the few that actually cares about citizens and listens to them and says, okay, what are you talking about here? Let me get to the bottom of it. Obviously he did that with you, which kind of checks out. He's the one that I look to when I say I need somebody that is decent in the Missouri State Senate that will actually listen to constituents. And I chose Mike Moon for that reason. That's the reason he was there, along with Bryant Wolf. And he's another guy you should probably talk to in the House of Representatives to at the very least bring awareness to it. I mean, what's the plan, Rob?
Well, the plan is to just ignore them. Why keep voting for a bunch of rulers to rule over that don't do anything? So my plan is let's work at the local level, get the city councils involved, even get the mayor, get the attorney. Let's write some ordinances at a local level because again, it's still government locally. Higher you go up, you get into a corporation. So let's don't participate in a criminal organization. Let's have something that actually has some sense. Tell them, listen, how can a council member, how can the city, how could even a mayor sign off on this stuff when they're financially not able to handle if there's a lawsuit? I mean, me and you go open an account at 84 Lumber or Hackman Lumber to start up a construction company. Guess what me and you got to do? We can't hide behind the LLC. We got to personally guarantee it. So if they want this data center so bad, then they personally guarantee it. Put up a house up for auction. Put it up as a collateral. Put all your investment stuff for collateral. But if not, let's do a bottoms-up movement, work with the city councils, write some ordinances, that way they can't roll over us, and we can do a data center. I'm not against data center. Let's do a data center. Locally only, not top down. That's all bullshit. Look, bottom up. Then we can do something. Local levels, that's how you do it. I just ignore those guys down there. Don't waste your time. Complete waste of time. Senator Moon said, we are a $52 billion corporation is what Missouri is. We're interested in the side deals. We're not interested in you. We'll move some furniture around, and that's it.
That's all they do.
For you. It's all for us.
That's all they do. And Brent Wolf.
If that's the case, stop getting involved in a Bolshevik revolution. This is crazy. They're abusing you. It's an abusive relationship.
It is. It's insane that people keep spinning in that circle. Bryant Wolfen said that in one of the interviews that somebody from PML, Jake Jackson, had with him, and he said, "Rob, we're not doing anything up here for you. That's just not how this is set up to work. This is I'd like it to be, but this is not the way it's set up." He goes, "It's not. We can't do some things around the side." He goes, "But we're not here on behalf of the voting citizens. We're here on the donors." He's not. He said, "But the government is." And what a sad story. And he's the most. I think he's the most honest person up there. Him and Mike Moon, those are the two most honest people that'll tell you exactly what's going on. And you really don't have a government. People think they do. They don't really have a government the way they think. They have rulers. They have rulers that take big money from big multinational corporations, wealthy people, and then they structure the government to satisfy those people. That's it.
Yeah, so that's why, again, I'm going to reiterate this. A local level, be nice to them, work with city councils. I mean, you're on their side. This is a good approach because you're helping them out. Because how are they not going to be liable now for lawsuits when they get sued for these data centers? And we need to put in an ordinance that they can't all of a sudden put a data center in there and all of a sudden, oh, it's national security now. You can't do nothing to us. Or we'll file bankruptcy. Then who's responsible for that loss damage? Well, all the people in the vicinity of that data center needs to sign off on it because it's their property that's up for mortgage, basically, if this thing goes bad. So unless you get all the property owners to sign off on this and get the city away from everything, the council members away from this, and make it a ground-up movement that makes the applicant liable for it, let him be personally guarantee for this, but they cannot file bankruptcy and they cannot put it under the National Security Act.
Makes sense to
me. That's
me.
what's going to happen.
Gotcha. Theodore, I was going to ask you this too, because, people always say, Rob, you should talk more about 5G. When the COVID situation was going on, everybody was kind of hip to 5G. They thought it was going to be dangerous. There was a lot of conversation about it. And then Donald Trump says he's going to come out and put 6G in there. Are these incremental things that are going to make things worse? Does it matter? Is 5G, 6G, 7G, does it intensify, or is it baked in the cake where it is now?
Well, 6G is going to be 5G on steroids. More surveillance, which then is analyzed in the data centers. Actually, the 6G, the data centers, the cameras, they're all connected. So what's happening right now is that local governments, to the point about the importance of working with your local governments, there are measures that are being proposed with Congress as well as with the FCC, the United States Federal Communications Commission, to strip away local control related to cell towers and 5G and the planned 6G in order to fast track more and more cell towers across the nation. The FCC has had that proposal in place since before the new year, and most people aren't even aware that there was short amount of time when we could comment on that, and it ended on New Year's Day, where the public could comment about having city and state control over where and how cell towers were placed, be basically mostly eviscerated, actually. But I want to highlight a point that was raised.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about something that you brought up before about how do we address this, or, are we going to redo the whole infrastructure? And I would offer that we've been here before. If you look at history, you look at asbestos, which was everywhere. There was also lead in the pipes everywhere, and still is, right? So this situation, it must be addressed in order to protect the public and the environment. And it's got to start with organizing in your community. And another thing that's really important is it's not just right around the data center, like you can see it or you can smell the air pollution. Now when they start turning on their facilities, there have been, I live in the DC area. So in Virginia, when there was that blackout, they started spewing all of this air pollution in the air. But it's not just about air pollution or water pollution, because the electromagnetic fields can go for miles. There was a Bloomberg report of over 700,000 sensors that were placed across the United States, near and far from data centers. And they found the majority, it was 3/4 of the distorted power quality issues, that's what Robert's talking about, were located within 20, in fact, up to 50 miles away from the data centers. And the companies are aware. It's not like the data center companies are not looking into this. You can find reports about harmonic distortion, how they're managing it. The issue is that there's no pressure to do that, especially related to the communities outside of the data centers. And there's not measuring or monitoring going on. So if you're working in your local community, it also needs to address the issue of electromagnetic fields.
We've got
air, water, and noise.
Gotcha. We got one of our listeners. Her name's Dana Bowers, and she's been fighting multiple different jurisdictions over AI data centers. And then we had, I used to have this lady on, Anna Farrar. Same thing. She was fighting data centers out in the Wentzville, St. Charles County area. And it looks like the local governments signed NDAs, and they're hard to get any. They're almost as obtuse as the state government. They're like, they just kind of sit there and look at you. I think Dana just sent me a video this morning. As a matter of fact, she was in the city of Festus. I don't know if you know that story here in Missouri. They didn't want the data centers. They were not being listened to. They voted everybody off the council. All of them got voted out. And she's still having problems with them because she was back at him. Sent me videos this morning. How do you, if the local governments are signing NDAs with these, I don't know what they're signing them with. I guess these corporations that come in here and say they're going to bring a lot of jobs and economic development. Now, what do you do? I mean, if these people are, if you can't get through even the local governments, it almost feels like because it doesn't appear to me, I was being honest with you. Even when I watch the local governments, they don't seem to care either. They seem to say, we've already signed these NDAs. These things are coming. Donald Trump said, just go with it. It feels to me like it's just like this enormous hill to climb to get anybody to pay attention to what's going on. Are you finding that around the country, or is that isolated here in Missouri?
I think it really depends. I mean, some people are voting them out. And this is going to be, I think, have a real impact on the midterms. People are voting against their own party, whichever way, because it's like you either are for the data centers or either for the community and how to do this right or not. And people are voting on the data center issue. That is what's happening. And I'm seeing, just take Virginia, some counties, the local communities are signing resolutions opposed to the high voltage power lines, and some are opening the door wide open. So it really depends. So the way that that's shifting is by us, the people who are coming together, getting organized, talking about the issue, doing town halls and teach-ins, and just getting educated and realizing how important it is, because our health is on the line.
And it's going to get worse.
This is the time, because we're just at the beginning of this revolution. We're just at the beginning. 6G is AI everywhere. That is what the companies are saying. That is what the FCC is talking about. That's why they're pushing it. They need AI to be everywhere and everything. And then it all goes into the data centers where it's analyzed and comes back out. We're paying for it, not just with our health, but with our pocketbook. And it's not even for us.
What do you think they ultimately want it?
us.
Yeah, what do you think they ultimately want it for? I'll ask all of you guys, Rob included. What do you think they would? Because the AI data center push, I haven't really seen anything like it, because I don't understand how your community can come out, hundreds of people all around the country, and say we don't want these things, and you have these local governments who are ignoring them. They're going forward with it. They don't seem to care. Now, it does get pushed back on certain places. So to your point, you can overwhelm these people at certain points, but what do they want? Is this just is this a surveillance grid, the way Catherine Austin Fitts described? She said that's what this is all about, is total surveillance, and total surveillance gives total control. And once you have total control, then you kind of own the planet. That's what she thinks this is all about. Do you think it's nefarious like that?
I think they're trying to sell more products. It's just all about profit. So
Simple.
you need the surveillance to be able to decide how to position to then have more profit. That's
Gotcha.
I think it's just
Corporate greed.
Greed.
Corporate greed. Rob, what do you think?
Myself.
Well, I can get into some esoteric stuff, but I'll let that set aside. But I think this all goes all the way back to the MK Ultra. The more poison the population is, the more controllable you are, the more you vote the same way. They're going to keep rolling out these voting machines that are fraud, and they can just get it whatever they want. And people keep going to the voting machine and voting for the fake voting machine. It's electronic versus a paper ballots. I wouldn't participate in a scam like that. Just don't participate. The best way to win is don't participate in it.
That's kind of where I'm coming from lately, to be honest with you.
I know. I've been to Jeff City. I spoke in front of the committee, the House, and did all this stuff. I mean, Dr. Sheep, I did the work. Okay, I did the work. I went to school for six years. I had an apprenticeship for 5 years from the best electrician in the country, Andrew McAfee and Bill Bathgate, a 4-year electrical engineer. They came to St. Louis. I hired them to work for. I worked for free for 5 years, made no money, and I spent $40,000 on my education, $20,000 on my equipment to go do all this to help people, because I knew this was coming. And I said, listen, if I don't do it, no one's going to do it. So I decided I'm going to do it. That's what I told the Public Service Commission. I said, no one's going to do it, so it had to be done. What are you going to do about it? Show me any study saying what I say right now is not correct. Show me somebody, or have me talk to somebody. I'll sit down and debate anybody. And I'll win the debate in 2 minutes. I'll ask them one question. So have the debate, bring any politician. I'll sit down and ask them one question, and I'll win. So if they really want to do something about it, then stick up, because they have no idea they're in such massive mind control. These politicians, they're screwed too. Don't they realize this? They're screwed.
That Jack Cruz video that I sent you this morning.
Yeah,
we played a little bit of that earlier. Do you agree with what he's talking about there? Because he's basically saying it is tied to mind control. It is tied to control.
Yeah, it's all he traced all the way back to the Manhattan projects.
Yeah,
this is not complicated. Then you get LED lights for another Manhattan project. They can do LED lights, we're going to put you on a massive mind control. It also causes massive damage to the brain and the hippocampus. And you don't live on all massive amount of 450 nanometer blue light. Nothing lives on that. That's not how nature is. So that's exactly why they did it. That's why Obama rolled it out. In a moratorium, he said, let's roll out the LEDs. It puts people on more mind control. Because they knew this was coming up. And who the heck could fall for a fake virus that never proved to exist, never isolated it, in the PCR test, which is not a test, it's a research tool. And the guy who invented it, he said it's not a test. But they did it anyway. It's not because you're stupid. I know people with 150 IQs that did all of that. The mask, and one of them's dead, by the way. The mask, and then, of course, the vaccines, and multiple vaccines, because it's not about your IQ, it's about mind control. It only takes a few minutes.
Rob, I am in such agreement with that. And I hate to say that, because you do sound like a crazy person. You know that, right? We all sound crazy.
Well, I've already been injured. I have about 350 clients that will stand behind me.
Yeah, well, everybody
said, bring any politician and have a conversation with me, and let's bring my injured clients. Let's get a little committee together, and let us all talk to them, and let's publicize it. Just make a videotape it. Yeah, I'll videotape about the conversations we're having about this.
To further the point, we just had Mark Mitchell on. Mark Mitchell, you've seen him everywhere. He's been he just had a conversation with Donald Trump. He was the face of Rasmussen polling. He was let go because he would not run fake polls. And he said that half of all Americans, in his polling, and he said the name of his company is now The Honest Poller, honest polling. 50% of all Americans say they know somebody that they believe died from vaccines. 50% of all Americans, and nobody does a thing. So when you talk about mind control, this is the thing that I struggle with, is if you know that your government ran a con on you, if you know that the major insurance companies, the corporations all ran this con on you, all told you to put a needle in your arm for something they couldn't even explain or understand, when there was no research behind the medicine, and you just watched it. It happened for 2 years. Everybody got to see it with the mask and the standing on dots and all the nonsense. Nobody does anything about it. And it makes you wonder, have we always been this docile as a society? Can your government pull these kind of things on the entire population, take their jobs away from them, shut down all their small businesses, leave the big corporations open, close churches? And then after it's all over and after all the damage is done and trillions of dollars have shifted from the American taxpayers' pockets all the way to Wall Street with the CARES Act, nobody cares. Nobody does anything about it. Nobody says we should fight back against this. There's very little pushback on the tyranny that's going on in this country. And I have to believe that has to be something going on with the mind. It doesn't make any sense that people would sit back and watch this, understand it, have conversations with you, but never lift a finger to do anything about it. And these politicians are still dancing around like they're the movie stars. It's very bizarre to me. Do you see anything? Do you pay attention to that, Theodora? Is it something that you pay attention to? Or are you more in the science of it all?
I'm in the science and policy of it, but I really think that this issue is bringing people from being not feeling effective or getting involved in their government to becoming more involved. And people who didn't even know who their council people are now like, oh, where do I go to the meeting? So I think this is really a moment, because they've really gone too far. Things have just gone too far. And there's a lot of preemption happening. I don't know if you know that in West Virginia, all the local communities are preempted from regulating data centers. They have a state bill. And there's preemption also happening at the federal level to then preempt the states and the localities. So people need to really wake up and take back their power, right? To understand that they can do something. And it's going to have to be packing the hall. It's going to have to be getting organized, just like Robert said, at the very local level, talking face to face with people in your community. It's almost like we were all online. Now we need to get off all online, except to organize and really meet with people and just be like, the answer is no. Like, they're going to have to do it in safer ways, which I don't think they've really developed yet. So there are technologies that can be developed, like, I'm talking about all the kind of pollution from data centers. Those have to be addressed. Each piece needs to be looked at and thoughtfully. They need to come up with a better way. Because I do believe that if you put engineers in a room and you start to talk about what the issues are, there are solutions, but they need to be prioritized and done.
I will say this, the one thing that I am noticing is around AI data centers, people are they're enthusiastic about the pushback. It's happening all over the state of Missouri.
Yes.
It's real. They have these meetings, and we push back against it in St. Charles County. Again, Jake Jackson, this guy's getting a lot of things done, just this young guy that was getting petitions signed. He was speaking out at the meetings, and they said, okay, we're going to not do it in St. Charles County. So there are victories out there, and it does seem like maybe this is the one issue that people are, for whatever reason, it catches their imagination. They say, okay, this is the one I'm going to focus on.
Yeah.
AI data centers seems to be it seems to be the one issue where people of all stripes, whether they be independents, Democrats, or Republicans, say, not in my backyard, we're going to push back against it. And maybe this is something that connects us for once, where we're connected and we have an issue to fight, which is not each other, but maybe the people that are trying to do this to us. Would you agree with that, Rob? Are you somewhat optimistic? Is there a glimmer of hope in your mind?
Yeah, because this data center is open up the conversation for this stuff. So it's actually been a blessing in disguise. God always gives you several ways out, and this is a way out of the mess. We should have stopped there with the phones are not used for, they're not ever intentionally made for our benefit. At the end of the day, it's about control, power, profit, control. Everything's about that. And the more you poison people, the more power, profit, control that you can milk out of them. So the data centers has actually been a really good thing, actually. I'm actually not disappointed. It's just that we have to make sure that we put our foot down. Like Theodora said, that's why I wanted her on the show, because she's so smart and she knows how to give delivery of words. I'm a little bit more outgoing as far as what I say. And we needed a good mixture of some professionalism at the same time. I liked her here because of that.
Yeah,
Because I just say it is. I mean, I got my guy. I'm the doer. My ex-wife would say, "You're the doer." I just do it. I don't think about it. I do it. Okay, let's get educated. Go get the equipment. Let's get it done. Let's go. I take my electrician. Let's go to the house. Let's fix the house. Let's change someone's life today. We get to do that every week. Imagine that. And then they tell you, "Oh my God, thank God, I'm going to see Dr. Yu today." The whole staff comes up to me and goes, "Oh my God, you're the guy. You're the guy that predicted COVID." I said a year in advance of when COVID was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I said it's because of poisoning, nothing to do with a virus, but poison. Virus in Latin means poison. I said that in my presentation. And the guy's like, "Oh my God." So Dr. Wiley had me come to this house, come to his office, move his office from Clayton to Clayton Road because he knew he was being poisoned from 5G tower. So at the end of the day, enjoy this. Have fun. We're the best, living the best times ever. This is it. This is our time. I mean, imagine being at this point of our life. This has never happened before. And we got a bunch of clown shows going on. We get to laugh at them every day. I turn on the TV for about 2 minutes to laugh at them, and I turn it back off.
It's time to shine, Rob. It is
Just
time
have
to shine.
fun. Don't get bad about this stuff, but you got to get off your butt a little bit. You got to do something.
Yeah, you got to get active. So tell me about what you do when you go in and you safeguard these homes from dirty energy. What's the process?
Okay, so the process is I like to come in and do what I call the EKG. I actually have the equipment. This is actually an oscilloscope. It's a very expensive piece of equipment. And I got something called a picoscope. It's not set up, of course. And I like to give people what we call EKG so I can show the dirty power that's coming in from the grid, from the primary and secondary side of the transformer, getting into the house that's traveling. And then I have my electrician kind of go through the panel and it gives it a panel diagnosis. And to find out at the panel what might be going on. Is there wiring errors? Is there neutral to grounds on the same bus bars like a bunch of morons? You know, the NEC code says one neutral bond at the main disconnect of the actual panel. But what do we do there? They have 9 or 8 more past that on each bus bar. He looks at all that, see if there's neutral to ground, wiring errors, and then of course we can look on that standpoint. Then we get into the radio frequency standpoint. Then we walk around the house and find the magnetic fields. Is there current? Remember, anytime you have a magnetic field, that's pollution from the grid or it's pollution from your house because you have wiring problems in the home. I say that any house built before 1990, you're foolish not to have a panel diagnostic. To at least have my electrician, Eric Williford. You might even know his wife. She's actually spoken to your show, I think, before as well. But
Lindy?
Yeah. So Mrs. Williford, what's her first name again?
Lindy.
Lindy's
been on a couple times.
Yes.
She lost by 1 vote in the St. Charles County elections. It was a miracle. 1 vote. And the wife of the person running the elections won by 1 vote. That was very interesting.
So anyway, we'll go back and I finish it up for you. So radio frequency, electric field, magnetic field, we do all that testing and we kind of work as a team with that. It's kind of nice to get us both out there, but we can have just Eric go out there, which is fine. Again, I kind of do this because it needs to be done. But he saw me speak about 4 years ago, and he was very intrigued by what I had to say. So he's fully trained. He could basically be a building biologist. He hasn't been through all the training to go to schooling. It's time consuming. It's very, very time consuming. So, but he knows everything that I know. I have some more equipment that he doesn't have, but he can do it all by himself. You contact them directly. He'll handle it all for you. Hardwire your house, hardwire cameras. And then I can kind of come in and do more of the deep dive if there's some other issues, especially with this, extremely low frequencies. And I can tell you which frequency. I can tell you if your neighbor's doing it. I can tell you if it's a pole pump that's doing it. I can tell you if it's a data center once they go in, what frequency it is and what's getting into your home with equipment that I have. Now, only 9 people that I know of in the United States that have this equipment. I know there's more people that have it. I'm just saying people I actually know in the building biology community. Even Theodore, you said, I'm very hesitant about even recommending a building biologist unless I can talk to them a little bit, make sure they know what they're talking about. Just because you went to school doesn't mean you know it. You got to do it. And that's why I hired a 40-year electrical engineer and hired the best electrician in 2 different states, Andrew McAfee, to train me in an apprenticeship program. That way I went in the home. I know I'd be the best building biologist in Missouri. No one better. Now I got my electrician here. I'm probably in the top 5, top 10 best in the country if he's with me. By myself, obviously I'm limited in what I can do because of my EMF exposure. So I can't go into computers and look at Bluetooth and look at all your Wi-Fi. And the average home has 15 different cell towers in there. Roku, you name it. Your TVs or even your garage door openers now have full-time Wi-Fi. That never shuts off. another big booby trap is going on. It's insane, man. Air conditioner units have full Wi-Fi. You can't turn it off.
Rob, my TV. So I was in Missouri on business, and my wife sold the house while I was gone. And she said, what are we going to do here? We need to we're going to have to move out and buy a new home really quick. They want to move here in a couple of weeks. And I was supposed to be in town in Missouri. I think it was like a 6-week trip at that point. I said, we'll just sell the house, and whatever house you determine, I'm in. Just go find another house. So she finds a house. They leave the washer and dryer in. And on my television screen downstairs, there is whenever you use the washer and dryer, there's a message that pops on the thing, and it says, this stupid, ridiculous dryer that I have to program, blah, blah, blah. And my daughter, my 19-year-old daughter, was so frustrated she had to program the washer and dryer because it now is, you can't just turn on the washer and dryer anymore. You got connectivity to your phone and everything else. So she got mad at it, and that's what she labeled it. So when the washer or the dryer comes on, there's a box that comes up on my television screen that my daughter put in there, said this ridiculous washer and dryer, now it's on, or something of this nature. I think it's hilarious. You're right. It's everything is now is now connected to Wi-Fi. It seems like that is the way of the world, and people, it appears, have accepted it to a degree, doesn't it? It just seems like people think that this is a necessary evil.
Well, again,
But do we need it? I mean,
I'm with you. I don't think we do, but everybody seems to think it's the world's coming to an end if you don't have it.
I was visiting with a friend, and we're in the kitchen, okay, he's standing next to the oven. So he's standing next to the oven. I'm talking to him about our kids. And then he goes, wait, I have to turn the stove off. Something happened on his phone. He's on the phone, pressing something on his phone, but he was standing next to the oven that he was turning off via his phone. It's entirely ridiculous. I mean, it was crazy. And now I need a new refrigerator. And let me tell you, I'm having the time of my life trying to find a refrigerator without Wi-Fi, without Bluetooth. I don't need it. I don't want it. But yet very few models don't have it.
Yeah, and they're going to do the same thing with the cars. I have a friend that's in
That's right.
works on cars, and he said, here before too long, they're going to have a situation where you can't work on your car by yourself. They're going to have regulations against it because there's going to be so much technology in the car that you can't just be a mechanic anymore. You got to be a technician. So they're going to take the ability for you to go work on your car away from you, because now you're going to have to take it to the dealership to have it worked on. Nobody else is going to have to work on it. And it's the same situation that you're describing. It is amazing where the world is heading, and it seems like you're slowly rolling off a cliff, and hopefully people will wake up before we get there. That's kind of what I'm hoping. Rob, you got to tell me, because we got just a few more minutes left, very quickly, just so people understand, how did you get into this? Because when you get so passionate about it, people may not remember you from the radio show, and why you got into this subject and started learning about it. Tell people what happened to you. You were a bodybuilder. That's how, when I first met you, you started telling me where you grew up. You work at the Vic Tanny on Dorset. And I said, I went there all the time when I was a kid. I live right down the street from it. That's how you and I started talking and got connected. But what happened to your body so that you, to raise awareness to what was happening, and just kind of walk very quickly through the story so people know that this is real. This happened to you. That's why you understand it. That's why you're so enthusiastic about spreading the message. Give people a sense of what happened to you back in those days.
Well, I guess to start out, I think my first symptom I actually had when I was younger, because I used to go into grade school at Casleo in Harvester area, and I would get bloody noses. And that's usually a sign of that your immune system is in tune to these frequencies, these synthetic. Remember, synthetic is a sin. Synthetic frequencies. My body can feel them. Was telling me, "Hey, this is a poison." So I had bloody noses. Really, probably one of my first symptoms I had. Then your body adjusts to it, and then I got into the the whole big thing about the iPads. And I thought, well, this is great. I'm in the home improvement industry. I can take my 25 sales guys, convert them to iPads, and boy, this is the greatest since sliced bread. I had about 10,000 pictures. And so for years I was airdropping. Plus, it's cumulative. There's no safety guidelines in your car on your cell phone. There's none. There never has been. So you're in a box. So I'm getting polluted. I'm polluting myself, but through good work ethic, good diet, and food, I was able to survive. But I was actually starting to get pressure in my ears. I had a problem hearing. And so then I started having pressure in my side, and so I went and saw Dr. Yu, and he says, well, we're going to put you on these protocols, but he really didn't understand EMFs. So I got frustrated. So I went to go see Dr. Klinghardt in Seattle, Washington. He's like, yeah, I know about EMFs. He goes, it's a poison. He goes, I cure people all the time. As long as you get rid of the EMF, you don't get rid of the EMFs, I can't fix you. And one thing, the most important frequency to get rid of is Wi-Fi. Because Wi-Fi actually attenuates with water, and it shuts your body down. It makes you docile. It destroys your testosterone. And there is something called the voltage-gated calcium channel, that the lower the dosage is, a lot of times is more damaging than the higher dosage because of the voltage. So with all that information I got, I found out that I was being poisoned from electromagnetic radiation. So I literally had to go through 5 to 7 years of constant detoxification. But at the same time, I call it the octopus. Some of my friends say, don't talk about the octopus. It makes you look kind of uncredible. I go, no, doctor, you wrote a whole paper about me. It was like a tumor. So every time I touched the iPad, whatever it was started growing to my side. So I was like, Dr. Hugh, I think there's something growing to my side. And so I went to and saw Dr. Klinger. I said, yeah, I know exactly what it is. And he had a name for it. I'm like, man, I got to get this thing out of me. It's driving me crazy. So through all the protocols and detoxification and some parasite medications and, you got Lyme disease, so we didn't really focus on Lyme disease because I had Lyme disease, but he said, don't focus on it. And it all kind of went away. It goes away because I stopped poisoning myself, and I started getting the poisons and radiation out of my system, and used a lot of energy work and obviously words that I say, and I was able to recuperate, because most of the people that were damaged as bad as me don't recuperate. They just don't make it. A lot of them commit suicide. A lot of times they never work ever again. But I was very fortunate. I just gave it all I had, and I just said, I'm not going to give up. And, but yeah, so I
you got pretty sick. You got really sick.
Well, I got super sick. I didn't leave my house for 5 years, except to go to work. That's a true story. I went to work, was so sick, come home, working my body for the 4, 5, 6 hours, study 4, 5, 6 hours every night. Did that for 5 years, did not leave my house. I didn't even run EMF calls at the time. So I was so sick. I was falling over. I had blood coming on my ears. I had 3 operations in my ears. I had the issue with obviously the mold, the bacteria. I mean, you name it. I had it all. I said, you have everything. So, but again, when you get rid of the EMFs, everything goes away. That's the foundation. It short circuits your electrical system. When you short circuit your electrical system, your blood starts to coagulate, and then your body can't absorb oxygen. If you can't absorb oxygen, of course you're going to get sick. So getting rid of the EMFs allowed my body to absorb more oxygen. It was not going to, the red blood cell stops getting damaged so bad, and then you're able to actually have a reasonable conversation with yourself and your creator, and the people around you that need to recuperate. But until you get that reasonable conversation with your creator and yourself, and realize that you can't continue to poison yourself, whether it be Teflon coating or this or toothpaste or fluoride. I mean, it's all poison. Again, you're controllable. I was on massive mind control. My hand was on the iPad, and I had this pain in my side for 2 more years. I kept doing it anyway because I was on massive mind control. So I had to program my mind by detoxification and doing a fast for actually 3 weeks at one time. I was able to get out of that mind control. That's why the MK Ultra is so important that we talk about this and have a conversation, because that's what it's about. It's not because you're not dumb. It's not because you're dumb. It's not because if you're overweight, it's not your fault. I'm telling you, it's not. You've been poisoned. That's a big reason why. If you can't think, you're having dementia, it's not your fault. You've been poisoned. Once you realize that, it's called a aha moment. You confront it. You confront the situation. You turn from that. That's how you get better. But most people wallow in their complain, wallow in it, watch Fox News, watch Channel 2, Channel 4. Everybody's going to die. Everybody's getting shot in East St. Louis. No, just turn it off and turn from it and start surrounding yourself with better people. And at the same time, stop poisoning yourself. That's all I have to say. Stop poisoning yourself.
Get out of the trap. Theodore, would it be okay if we have a couple people reach out to you? We are very heavily invested in the AI data center conversation in the state of Missouri. We're going to have a person on right after you, Dana, who's been fighting them. She's made a name for herself around Missouri. Anna Farrar, another one. These people were out front and fighting and pushing back against AI data centers. It's been a tough grind, by the way. But would you mind communicating? Can I hook you up maybe on email so you can get some of the information, and some of the information that you have might be very useful in these town hall meetings that we're starting to have.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we have at Environmental Health Sciences, we have a lot of information on air, land, water, EMF, what you need to know, what policymakers can do, and all kinds of knowledge resources to help local communities so that they can get the protections they deserve.
We're going to take you up on that. I promise you, we're going to take you up on that. That's been a big story for us. Rob, great to see you, my friend. Are you going to be there on September 18th? You coming? That's my People's Lobby, Missouri. My next, we'll have Phil Turney there. We'll have Rob, Mr. Thompson there, Matt Thompson, who's going to talk about the Jeffrey Weinhaus case. I'd love to have you there because it'll be all the people that actually do work talk about it, but actually do work. There'll be a lot of those people there. It'll be a good spot for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'll also make sure that the people can get a hold of my electrician too.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously, Eric Williford. Eric, can we give a number out to reach you?
Sure. Well, my website is clearfieldemf.com.
Clearfieldemf.com.
Right. And if they want to call me directly, it's area code 314-267-6434. That number is also on the website, but they're welcome to call me. I can come out. Rob and I both can come out. We can test and then we can mitigate.
There it is right there on the screen. So Clearfield. So if you're looking for the services, clearfieldemf.com. You can reach them at 314-267-6434. Eric Williford. All right. We'll get the information out to everybody. We'll make sure that they call you, because I know you there's a lot of people in my circles that have used your services. I know that for certain. So we'll get some more heading your direction.
Great. Happy to help.
Eric, pleasure. Rob, pleasure. Nice to see you. Is it Theodora or Theodora?
Theodora.
Theodora, great to see you. We're going to be in touch. Have a great day. Thanks for the information. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it. See you guys. Have a great day. Isaiah.
Great stuff.
Amazing stuff, isn't it? Yeah, nobody thinks of these things. Most people, this is the way this works, though, because I've been at this for so long. It'll go in one ear and out the other. Now, some people will stick with, maybe 5-10% of the people that will stick with them, and they'll start to recognize, okay, maybe I know so many people, Isaiah, that are 150 pounds overweight that eat less than I do. And he said, it's not your fault. You're susceptible to things more so than I am, and you're being poisoned, and you don't recognize that it's happening, and yet they just accept it as life. That's just the way it is.
The food pyramid, we got to drink the milk. We got to, got to eat our grains and the cheese and all these different things, right? That's what they told us, Rob. John, I love it.
We have to block him at some point. He's getting out of control.
I love it.
I want to bring in Dana. Let me do some advertising. Then I want to bring in Dana Bowers, because Dana Bowers is they removed her from another meeting out in
really?
Yeah, I think she was out in Festus again.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't think she's doing anything wrong. I watched the video she sent, and she says, you people are not following your own laws. This is unconstitutional. And they ding ding ding, the time is up, and she wants to speak for another 10 seconds, and here come the cops. I mean, it's really strange what's going on. There is a hierarchy of power around the country that sees their duty as working for the power. Does that make sense? Whatever the power structure is, they see that as obedience to that power versus questioning the power, which is what citizens are supposed to do. It does not appear to me that that many of our institutions in the state of Missouri and around the country, those institutions are not working on behalf of the people anymore. They don't even see that they're not doing it. They just think that they're doing their duty. And if you go back to Nazi Germany, if you just read about what was going on in Nazi Germany, what happened was the system got so corrupted and so out of control and so corporate top down that people would do the most horrific things to their neighbors, and they would say, I was just doing my job.
Yeah.
I was just doing my job. And I see this starting to happen in some of these local committee meetings, where you would think the police would be on the side of the participants that are complaining about their government, but instead they work on behalf of the government and ignore their people. It's very strange how flock cameras are voted.
This is flock cameras, but you could say this about data centers. You could say this about anything, really, right? It's showing all the people saying no, and then there's the government guy. Yes, we're going to do it.
Yep.
Yes.
That's how it's working. Dana's going to tell you that's exactly how it works. Let's do some advertising. And again, before I go any further, wherever you're at, if you're on Rumble, I don't even know who's seeing this today, but Rumble, X, YouTube, or Facebook, if you don't mind, just leave a comment, drop in a comment. Hey, your show's terrible. Your show's great. Whatever. Just a quick comment. Like, comment, share. Sharing really helps. Share and subscribe. We need more people to have access to the information, and they can make whatever decision they want. You're not bound to us because you share the information. Let people make their own determinations. It's the only way we're going to get through to more and more people, is for us to work together as a family. I'll leave it there. AdvancedWellnessMed.com. This is our good friend, Dr. Helen Gelhot, as she likes to say, feel, think, look better, and live longer. Just a quick shout out for her. Free doctor, not constrained by hospital administrations. Just very simple to remember. Free doctor, not constrained by the hospital administration. So she does what is best for every single person that comes before her, and she concentrates on the things that kill people. The things that kill people, that's where she stays focused. So the earliest cancer detection blood test available, symptom reversal for Alzheimer's and dementia. That's the big one for me. I just see so many people that are struggling as they get a little bit older. They just are losing their cognitive ability. And I always put myself in that position. I'm so proud of my ability to think that if that were to go away from me, I would be, it would suffocate me knowing that was happening. If you know somebody in your family that is suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia, friend, family member, coworker, have them reach out to Dr. Helen Gelhot, 314-576-0094, 314-576-0094. Check out the website, advancedwellnessmed.com. Final thing, they do pre-screenings for heart attacks and strokes, all things that kill you. She specializes in advancedwellnessmed.com. All right, let's bring in Dana Bowers. I want to hear from her anyway. She sent me a great video this morning where she's a troublemaker, which is why we like her. We like troublemakers, and Dana is becoming a big time troublemaker. What's going on, Dana? What happened to you the other night?
I do not agree with you.
Oh, you're a
We will
troublemaker.
agree to disagree. I'm not a troublemaker. I'm literally just exposing the corruption. And
well, that makes you a
honestly,
troublemaker
it's
nowadays.
disgusting.
That makes you a
Well,
troublemaker.
in
Yeah.
their eyes, yeah.
That's
And
what they
it
think.
also puts you in a position of being threatened and, physically escorted out or removed from meetings because you're exercising your First or Fourth Amendment rights. It's all just it's just complete insanity.
What kind of response are you getting from the public? Because if people don't know, you've been on the show before. You're making a name for yourself because you're not backing down and you're sticking with the program and you're going after some of these government officials who you believe are not listening to the people they are supposed to serve. I get it. I'm right there with you. I love when you do it. I love when Jake Jackson does it. People in my circle.
I love Jake. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
Right.
like Jake because I'm talking about the government. They don't like Jake because he's always in their face and he's challenging in them. And I said, that's what you're supposed to do. They're supposed to challenge people that aren't doing what their constituents want. You're doing the same
specifically
thing.
states that we're supposed to do that. We are supposed to challenge them. We're supposed to have conversation. We're not always going to disagree. That is what citizens and civilians are supposed to do with our local government officials. We are supposed to, if they're doing something wrong, we're supposed to call them out on it. It specifically states that in our Constitution.
It's duty.
It is our duty and our rights as citizens of this republic. And when you do it, you are chastised and you are walked out of meetings and you are trespassed and you are arrested and you are yelled at, and it's nuts. And I see a lot more of it in Festus since I've been helping with the fight down there recently. But just over the last few weeks, I've actually seen what I'm going to say a silent rogue officer in our Franklin County Commission meetings too, which is a little eerie. Because up until this point, we have an amazing Franklin County Sheriff. Steve Pelton has been awesome in our commission meetings, and he has the majority of all of our men and women trained. But the last two commission meetings here in Franklin County as well, we've had an officer who last week, Millie Ryan, who is she does just a small podcast. She's originally from Arizona, and they fought a data center out in Arizona before they moved here. She refused to give her name or her address at the podium, and she had wrote it on a little tiny piece of paper and tried to hand it to the attorney. And as soon as she stepped just 3 feet in front of the podium, the officer literally jumped up out of the seat and just went at her and was yelling at her, telling her to get back behind the podium. And it actually frightened her. I mean, she's almost 70 years old. It frightened her. And then this week, he wouldn't even sit down. The officer wouldn't even sit down. And my own mother was speaking, and she was just making a point by saying, we do all these things to protect our citizens with all of the road work and setting the lights and just trying to protect our citizens. And if I literally was to take a step or two to the side of the podium here, and she did take a step next to the podium, and he literally lunged at her like he was going to come out from behind the desk and go at my mom. She's 80 years old. Give me a break. She's unarmed.
I know.
You are armed. Like if Festus was just
I thought
that's a
I
Festus
gotta.
Ole Circus. I mean,
Well, I was going to ask you about Festus. I thought Festus, that was the community that voted out all of the committee members, and they brought
they
in new
did.
ones. So the new ones are doing the same thing.
No, it's not the two. Well, they voted in 3 new ones. One is they call him Judas McCarthy. I wonder why. Yes,
Uh-huh.
McCarthy. They call him Judas McCarthy because he's a turncoat. The other two are doing fine, but they're still outvoted. They did file, they did acquire the petition, and the signatures were all completely authorized by the clerk. Actually, tomorrow is their hearing for Jefferson County for the recall because they were trying to get the recall on the ballot. So that's tomorrow, but yeah, they have these officers, and they're not even officers for the people because, in my definition of an officer, that is someone who is in a position to protect the citizens and to make sure that we're cared for. These are just straight rogue cops, and I called them out on it during the meeting. You are violating the First and Fourth Amendment rights of the people and the citizens of this community. And the rogue cops 2 weeks ago, they swarmed me because I held up a piece of paper after Slimy Sam, the mayor down there, is like, your time is up, your time is up. And I was just holding up the pieces of paper, letting them know that I brought extra copies of the interim stay of acceptance that the city Pacific had passed. I just wanted them to know I had extra copies. And before I could even finish my sentence, 3 cops swarmed me. One of them was grabbing my personal belongings. And I looked at him and said, you better get your grimy hands off my personal belongings and do not touch me. Because if you do, you will be in a worse position than I will be. Do not touch me.
And they took their hands off, didn't they?
He did. He set my stuff down, handed it to me. I turned around, and one of the gentlemen that lives down in that area, Travis, he's like, don't touch her. I can touch her. You cannot. And he kind of like escorted me back to my seat to get them to walk away from the situation. But this week when I came back, you guys do not have a right to physically touch me. That is a violation of our rights. And they put in these new rules of decorum.
And this is all on AI data
decorum.
centers, right? This is all a fight over AI data centers.
It's all over data centers.
Dana,
because these people are speaking up and speaking out against them. They don't want them, and they're not listening.
How does the community, how are they treating you? Or is the community behind you for the most part? Is it split? Is it 80-20? What is your vibe on the way the community, because it doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be people that are coming after you. It just seems like you can be the greatest, most wonderful person trying to do right all the time. And there's going to be detractors. How's the community treating you as you go after and try to bring light to the AI data center conversation? What's the community treating you like?
In Festus, I have not had one person ever say anything negative. If anything, I get a daily thank you so much. We appreciate you coming all the way down here. We appreciate you speaking up. We appreciate you standing by our side. The community members themselves, the residents, are very grateful for the help that they're getting from exterior communities as well, because they're about 22 or so miles from my house. So I understand their fight because I'm fighting 2 of them right in my backyard. So I want to help them as best I can. And I see how mistreated they are by these rogue cops, the corrupt politicians, the lack of transparency in the beginning, the illegal, let me say this again very loudly, illegal documents that they are signing and things that the rezoning and the annexation, it's illegal what they are doing.
And they don't care, do they?
They don't care. They just keep doing it.
You know why,
in
I
front
think?
of everybody's eyes. They don't care.
I think it's because there's nobody going to hold them accountable. The state of Missouri is behind it. The Republican Party's behind it. They have control. They're pushing AI data centers from the top. There's a lot of money involved, and I think the people that would hold them accountable are in the same game. So they don't really care what you guys have to say. That's my opinion. Just watching their behavior when you guys are speaking to them, it doesn't seem like they care one iota about
They
what you have
don't.
to say. It's like
They
they're
do
sleeping
not.
through your
Not
conversation.
one bit whatsoever. Dave
Yeah.
Schatz, I literally just said this in the commissioner meeting yesterday morning. I point blank told him, I said, you know what? Congratulations on being a puppet for Satan and destroying the conservative Republican county that we have. Because in November, this man and his actions and the sheeple, the two sheeple he has sitting there behind the desk next to him, one on each side, are literally going to flip this county blue. And he doesn't even, he doesn't care.
I was going to ask you about that
Care.
because he's the presiding commissioner. You're talking about Dave Gastak Schatz, and he won the
Yeah.
primary, right, against Sean Noel. Now he's got a Libertarian and a Democrat going at it. I would think the Libertarian is going to pull votes away from Dave Schatz, which would probably mean the Democrat would ultimately win. Have you had conversations with the Democrat? Is the Democratic for or against these AI data centers? What's the situation down there in Franklin County?
I have had multiple conversations with Thomas Crutch, who is the Libertarian, and I've also had multiple in-depth conversations with, her name is Rochelle Landa. I hate the fact that our county is a it's a two-party government. I hate it. It is what it is. We've done the research. We've found the statistics, the numbers. Never in the history of this county has anyone ever won as a Libertarian for county commissioner. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. I like both Thomas and Rochelle, and I think on a county level, what she stands for, she's very anti-data center. She is disgusted with Dave Schatz's lack of transparency, his lack of communication, his disregard for the will of the people, the corruption behind basically being bought and paid for and bribed. I mean, he's got 15 years worth of donations for campaign funds that we exposed in the meeting last week and the week prior, where all these different companies, Ameren, Cochrane Engineering, Tesla, McBride and Sons, all these different companies have made campaign donations to Dave Schatz in his campaigns as he was running for state level as well as Franklin County level. And lo and behold, he's sitting in the seat. And guess who's approving contracts between the county and these companies? Dave Schatz, rubber stamp. Why? Because they gave him all these campaign funds all these years. So now he's sitting there and he is, oh, I'll scratch your back. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
And who appointed him?
Oh, dear precious Kehoe.
Right, the Republican conservative who put the gas tax on us, along with Dave Schatz. Now
the
they are
Missouri
controlling.
State Rhino governor that we have, who it was a Democrat who infiltrated our Republican Party. It's a disgusting,
Hey, Dana,
disastrous
did Cochrane donate to him for his presiding commissioner campaign, or was that?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Okay, I'm about to go to a.
Everything.
I hope someone.
Cochrane, McBride. We've called them out in the meeting.
Yeah.
But who's doing anything about it?
I'll be at a
Isaiah?
dinner with them
Nobody.
soon, Dana. I'll be at a dinner with them soon for a municipal dinner, so I'll be calling them out. I have no problem.
Please.
Yeah, I have no problem. I did it last time. They invited me to a dinner, trying to wine and dine me, and they started talking to me about data centers, and I just said, "Oh, do you know how many data centers China has?" And none of them knew. And I said, "Oh, well, they have 400 and we have 4,000. So why did you bring China up?" And they're silence, complete silence.
Isaiah has elephant cojones, so he will cause some problems up there too.
I do as well. Thank you,
to,
Isaiah. Thank you.
You have to have
people.
Yeah, you have
Rochelle
to have courage.
Landa is the Democrat. I haven't. Can I cuss on here? I have.
Of course. Isaiah does all the time.
I don't give a shit anymore. I don't give an F attitude, period. You know why? Because as soon as God gave me the opportunity to raise children, and I was blessed with my oldest son 23 years ago, I became the number one protector of my children. Mm-hmm. I am fighting for my children and my grandchildren, period, end of story. That's my job. That is my duty that God has given me. I was blessed with those gifts, and I'm going to protect them, period, end of story. And with that comes being vocal at this point in time. I'm just trying to protect my children. They don't give two rat's asses about anybody except for this right here.
And power.
And power. It's the
Money
money
and
and
power.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Dana, I got to get you on my side with the Jeffrey Weinhaus case. I got to get you on my side. I want that kind of
Oh,
energy.
I was just talking to somebody about that yesterday. I actually just sent him a link that you had originally posted. And we were talking about him yesterday at lunch after the commissioner meeting. Yeah, absolutely. I've done some more digging on that. And yeah, the corruption and what's happening, especially with the rogue cops, where they're working for the government. They're not working for us.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
working for the government. They don't
Oh,
work
yeah.
for us.
Yeah, well, Jeff was so funny because he's a very interesting guy. I love guys like Jeff Weinhaus myself. He's somebody that I could sit on the back porch, have a glass of wine with, and be completely entertained by him. He's brilliant. He's funny. He's quirky. He's awkward, but he's just an entertaining guy. And when I said to him, I said, you've exhausted everything now. You went all the way to the Supreme Court. He goes, the only option I have left now is clemency from Kehoe. And I said, have you reached out to him? He goes, well, he won't do anything. He's a Mason. That was he's just said it like
33 years. He is a Mason.
He said he's a Mason. He's not going to do anything. And I thought, Mason, that's kind of odd. And I guess I think when you go through the city or the county of Franklin County, there's like the Masonic lodges, and they've got the I don't know if it means anything. I don't mean to start conspiracy theories. I'm just saying that a guy that sits in prison says the reason he's there is because this secret group of people didn't like what he was exposing, and therefore they threw him in prison. And now nobody will even talk about it. You can't get the Republican Party to pay attention to you. I've told everybody what's going on. You can watch the video. It's very obvious what happened, and, and nobody disagrees. Dana, this is the thing I can't.
I
impress
know.
upon people
That's what
enough.
it's like. Where's the accountability?
You go to the sheriff, you go to the politicians, you go to the media, you go to everybody that knows the story, and they say, yeah, he got railroaded. I guess he'll just sit in prison for another 16 years for doing absolutely nothing except doing his job.
They shrug their shoulders and, tilt their head like, oh, that sucks.
Wouldn't that embarrass you? I always say that if I was a politician and I lived in Franklin County and I knew that a constituent of mine was in prison for something that he videotaped, and that he didn't do it, I could not rest until that person was out of prison. It would be the number one focus, because you can't have a society with no justice in it. You can't have a productive society with no justice in it. And I would be fighting that. They don't even bring his name up. They can't even get it out of their lips. And I continue to ask, well, why not? What are you so afraid of that you can't put forth your reputation to get an innocent man out of prison? They don't say anything about it. Nothing. Zero.
It's mind-boggling. It's no different than the gentleman that was arrested at the Festus meeting Monday night. He actually removed himself from the meeting because he was getting angry. And as he was walking through the front lobby, the cops said, well, you need to go outside, and you're now trespassed from the inside from the meeting. And he's like, fine, I'll go outside. Well, he goes outside just like he said he was going to do. He goes to his truck or car, and he got one of those little baby megaphone things. Now, exercising your First Amendment rights of freedom of speech, he's standing on public property on the front step of the city hall, yelling into the megaphone, no data centers in Festus, no data centers. We don't want any data centers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not our First Amendment right of freedom of speech? Yeah. They arrested him.
Is he too loud?
He was being too loud for them.
He was being too loud because he
He was disrupting the
on the show,
peace.
Dana?
He might. I don't know. I can ask him.
Just to talk about that story, that'd be very interesting, Rob.
Do me a favor,
we have
Dana.
it all on video too,
Yeah.
which is crazy. I even interviewed his wife afterwards. Like, I literally left the meeting to go outside and check on him, and they had him locked up, and they weren't going to let him go. And another gentleman, Travis Layton, who he's been back and forth from Jefferson to Franklin County, or Festus and Franklin County, helping us in the fight as well. Like, Travis and I and his wife and a couple other local citizens went to the other side of the building. Ironically enough, the police department's on the opposite side of the city hall, which
Shocker.
we didn't know that. Go to the window, and we're like, I want to know legally. I want to know, and I want it on record. What crime are you charging him with? What crime has he committed? What crime has he committed? Tell me right now on the record. They couldn't tell you. They could not tell you, they could not give you a legal reason as to why he was even arrested to begin with. Lo and behold, because we kept asking him, give us what crime is he suspected of? What did he do to get arrested? Nothing. 15 minutes later, guess what? He comes walking out from behind the building. They let him go. They released him on his own recognizance. But they did tell him, and I do have it on my live stream from that meeting Monday night, that they're going to try to send it to the prosecuting attorney for Festus for Jefferson County, and they're going to try to have him charged with. They didn't tell him with what. My assumption would probably be disturbing the peace or resisting arrest or something of that nature.
Not
But
being
here's
nice.
the irony behind it. Wait a minute. Here's the irony behind this. The prosecuting attorney, according to the records that I looked at recently, is the prosecuting attorney for Jefferson County is the same corrupt attorney, Madman Malone, who literally sits at the city council meetings every other Monday night with the mayor and everything, making these nasty illegal documents and rules of decorum and writes all the illegal rezoning and annexation rules and laws and documents for the city of Festus.
Uh-huh.
Like it's just a big circle
Well,
jerk
once you
of
and
crazies.
I don't think people recognize how crazy it gets when you really invest time and energy into paying attention to government. Then you see it up close and you're like, this is not what I expected. I thought these people were on the side of righteousness. They're not. And people just need to get that through their brains. I got to ask you this because Private Browser says, are you getting any help from the Amy DeClue campaign? So Amy DeClue is running for office out there. You got several people that are Republicans running for office. You got John Simmons, Amy DeClue. Have you talked to any of these people? I'd love to get them on the record as to what they think about Jeffrey Weinhaus, what they think about AI data centers, and get them out front so people can have conversations with them before the general election. Is that something that anybody out there would be willing to do? Do you know any of these people, by the way?
I do. And I have not heard anything out of Amy or from John. Actually, the only thing I have seen or heard from John Simmons is that he feels he's never once come out and said that he is anti hyperscale data center in Franklin County. Never once has he said that. Amy has not either. I don't understand why the Republicans Republicans are based on conservative values, and why that they're supposed to have been back in the day. They were supposed to have been. Why are you drinking the Kool-Aid, the Trump Kool-Aid right now with these data centers and pushing something against the will of the people? You're going to flip our county to blue.
Oh yeah.
It's happening.
If there's anybody out there that would get them on the record as to how they feel about these things, I'd love to just to know, especially Amy DeClue. I'd be curious to see. I see these people. I have nothing against Amy DeClue, by the way, but I see these people as just Republican mouthpieces. If the Republican Party says this is what we want to get done, then they go out and they fight for whatever the Republican Party leadership wants to get done. They don't have a brain of their own. All they do is parrot
They're
whatever
talking
they're.
heads.
Yeah, they're talking heads for whatever. That's my take on it. And they can prove me wrong by saying we're against AI data centers because my constituents don't want AI data centers. That's number one. And number two, somebody in my area, the constituency that I represent, has an innocent man in prison that everybody knows is innocent, and I'm not going to rest until something gets done. Why aren't they saying that? Why isn't John Simmons and Ben Brown and Amy DeClue, why aren't these people fighting for an innocent person? It's obvious that he's innocent. They're just okay with an innocent man being in prison for 30 years for something he obviously didn't do. I don't even understand why we have a government. What are they for? What is the purpose of a government when you have an innocent man in prison? Everybody with a functioning brain with that little thimble full of common sense can recognize, and yet they don't even talk about it. They act like they can't even bring it up. It can't get to their lips. They can't do anything about it. It's just that the courts have already seen it, Rob. There's nothing I can do. I'm like, I know, but you can watch it on freaking video. You know that the man who put him in prison was lying through his teeth from top to bottom. Everybody knows it, and you don't do jack shit about it. What do we have a government for? And I would ask Amy DeClue, John Simmons, and Ben Brown to answer that effing question, because I'm going to lose my mind on these people because I find them to be so full of BS and so fraudulent that I don't even understand how they can have a position of power in this state. What in the F is going on? I just get so angry about it because it's going to be me. I know it's going to be me sooner or later. That's going to happen to me. I'm not going to relent. I'm not going away. I'm going to get louder. I'm eventually going to be in Missouri where it's every day, same as you, Dana. And at some point, we're going to cross the wrong path, and I'm going to be in the exact same situation. Will anybody come to my aid? Will anybody come to my aid? Apparently
No,
not. Apparently, I don't
no,
have
they
a government that looks
won't.
out for me. It's
No,
sickening.
they won't. It's disgusting.
I couldn't go to those meetings, by the way. I would get arrested in 2 seconds. There's no way I could keep my temper. That's why I try. I'm serious. That's why I don't go to them. I'm for real. I would lose my temper. I'd have to just keep my mouth shut and not open my mouth, because as soon as one word comes out, I get heated just thinking about it. I'll be
don't
driving
even
with my
care.
wife, and
I
she'll
don't
go,
care.
and,
I want him
and I'll
to. I
get worked
want
up.
him to. I go ahead. Go right ahead. We were in the meeting Monday night in Festus, and I literally all I did was laugh. I was giggling with something that someone next to me said, and the freaking donut muncher, the police chief down there, and who couldn't run 5 feet without having a heart attack, literally turns and pulls his glasses down. He's like, "This is your warning. You will be removed from the meeting. You need to simmer down. Like, this is your warning." Go right ahead. Go ahead. I dare you. That was the last part of my speech on Monday night was, oh, FYI, attention rogue Festus cops. Do not touch me, because you will see me in court if you do. I want you to, because I will file a lawsuit against the city in 2.2 seconds with the click of a freaking button. I have an attorney on retainer.
Ready.
Dare you. Ready, set, go. Let's play.
I hope the
I'm
courts
not
will.
backing down. I'm
I hope
not backing down from this.
I hear you, and I hope the courts would actually defend you, because I'm curious about the courts myself. But anyway, Dana, I got to roll.
Last question I got for you,
I
Dana.
live stream everything.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Last question I got is: have you spoke to Brad Vanderman or any help
I
from
have.
him? Because Rob, I don't know if you know this, because he's kind of flying under the radar amongst all this, but he's actually the representative for Pacific. He's my representative here in St. Clair. He's the representative for Union, and he's the representative for the Franklin County side of Pacific. And so I'm just curious: have you heard from him? Conversations? I know that he's had problems in the past with the Franklin County Republican committee for standing up for things, but I don't know if he, where he falls on this issue. I haven't got to talk to him about it.
I have talked to him. I actually saw him at the car show down in Pacific several weeks back, and stood in the sun, the hot sun, for over an hour, and was not leaving until I got the answers answers to the questions that I had. And basically, long story short, is he's at a state level, and there's nothing he can or will do about it. And he actually was one of the ones that voted in favor of SB4 to help push this, because he doesn't see it as being a bad thing. And you're not going to get any help from him, because he feels like his exact words were, if you want to fight this, you and the residents who live in this area are going to have to fight this on your own at a local level, period, end of story. You're not going to get any help from him or anyone at the state level, and there's never going to be a moratorium. It's just not going to happen, because Kehoe and everyone at the state level in the state of Missouri, they're not going to do it. So if you want to fight it and you want to keep fighting it at the local level, because that's where he feels the decision needs to be made anyway. So basically it was good luck and get effed.
I'm not
Good to
surprised.
know. That means that I'm going to be talking to him a lot next session then. Looks like I'll be in his office, knocking on his door. He goes to church with my mom's cousins, so looks like we'll be talking a lot.
He is actually related to me. My grandmother's name is Vandermint. Like, we literally are distantly related. He's like my third cousin.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot from the state people, Dana, is that this is a local issue. There's nothing that we can do about it. I've heard that a lot.
That's a bunch of crap. He said if we put regulations in at a state level, then it could potentially harm the growth and increase in economic development with other large industry and corporations and large mass infrastructures.
That sounds like a talking point.
I'm like, it is, because he's turned into a talking head as well. This is all we're getting lip service.
Yeah.
Help us. That's why we put
that.
you in there.
Good luck. All right, Dana. I got to get some advertising.
guys.
Great to see you. Stay in touch with me. If you do find out of any of these government officials, if they would like to join the fight, Let me know who's who. I'd be curious to find out
Rochelle,
who's
I
who.
will tell you, Rochelle Landa, who is the Democrat candidate for the Franklin County presiding commissioner, who was running against Dave Schatz, she actually, on her signs, it has her name, and at the bottom it says no data center. She is hardcore against it. She is hardcore against doing anything that's against the will of the people. I think you would absolutely have a great conversation with
Hey,
her.
hook me up.
I can
Hook
give
me
her
up.
your
I'll have her on.
information and
Yeah.
send her to you. Yeah, I think she's our only hope in November to get Crappy Pants out of here. So
Yeah, get me hooked up with her and I'll have her on.
okay, great.
Thanks,
Thank
Dana.
you
Have a great
guys.
day.
Appreciate you. Yeah,
thanks for
you
checking in
too.
on us. I appreciate it. All right.
Absolutely, every day.
I love
See
it.
you
Thanks,
guys.
Dana. All right. Have a great day. Isaiah, as she was talking, I was looking at our numbers. Check this out.
Oh yeah.
So we get anywhere from 2,200 to 4,000 people on Facebook, right? So it's throughout the day, right? You'll have 8 people looking. It says like 8 people, 10 people. But if you look at the total numbers at the end of the day of people that watched over whatever the threshold is, 5 minutes, whatever it is, we have anywhere between 2,200 and 4,500. That's usually kind of where it goes on Facebook. You know how many we have today with that title?
500?
195.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
195.
Not surprised, right?
Now you tell me that we have a government that is working on behalf of the people. I want you to, if you're listening in and you were able to see the show, it came through your feed today, or you're finding it. Is that not unbelievable? I mean, it's basically, they basically just say if there's something in the title or something they don't want, they just squash everything that you're saying. And it is against the idea of the First Amendment. And our politicians don't do anything about it. They just do absolutely nothing about it. They say that these are private platforms, therefore they can do whatever they want, basically. And I'll make the argument to the politicians about Ma Bell. I just remind me this, Isaiah, when we get in front of these politicians. So you're telling me that in 1955, if Rob Carter had a political message that he wanted to get out and he was going to call people every day and talk to them, you would have squashed that if they just said, you know what, we're not going to allow Rob to have these people listen to what he has to say. And my phone number, when I called him, it would have been busy every time because I can't talk to them. And your excuse would have said, well, Ma Bell is a private industry. They can do whatever they want. If they don't want to hook you up to talk to somebody, they can do it. The public square is social media. That is where people are getting information. That is the public square. And these private organizations that are run by our central intelligence agencies and global intelligence should not have the right to squash free speech. They shouldn't have the ability. Even Elon Musk, who's the hero, right? He's the Doge guy and everybody's hero. I think he's a fraud, just like the rest of them. But again, that's just me. He said, freedom of speech does not equal freedom of reach. So a no talent bum imbecile like Benny Johnson can put out some ridiculous statement that nobody cares about and get 1 million people to see it. And Rob Carter can tell you about Jeffrey Weinhaus and what's going on with his situation. And I get 150 people. This is the world we live in. And all that has to happen is that the people start to recognize that they are being manipulated by their government, lied to by their government, fleeced by their government, surveilled by their government, and say, we don't want this anymore. We want protections for news agents on social media to have the same ability to get out a message as Benny Johnson. Everybody should be equal. You should not be able to determine how many people get to see the information. There should be an algorithm that treats everybody fairly. Is that fair, Isaiah?
Yeah.
What's the problem? Why are people not fighting for that? Why are the people that do these shows? Why isn't Tucker Carlson fighting for that?
I think they were fighting for it until Donald Trump got elected, and they felt like they didn't have to fight for it any longer.
True too.
And that's the smoke and mirrors that we talk about, Rob. Is it's an illusion that you think because this person is the president that these things aren't going to happen. Maybe they'll slow down, or maybe they'll shift to, instead of attacking the conservative people, now they're going to attack the liberal people, right?
Yep.
But just wait. Once, I don't know, AOC's president or Gavin Newsom's president, whatever, right? Then it's going to be flipped again. And that's what you don't understand, is that it never stops. It's just, who are they? For example, the Hassan Piker situation. I'm sure you've seen that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Terrible guy, disgusting. I don't agree. I don't like what he says, but I also am a free speech absolutist, and so they're talking about, we need to kick him out of the country. He needs to leave. And, that's their focus right now because Trump's president.
Mm-hmm.
And so when AOC, when Gavin Newsom, whoever becomes the Democrat president, then Benny Johnson's going to be persecuted. Laura Loomer is going to be persecuted, right?
Ugh, those
so
people are so nauseating too.
I
Nobody
know.
wants to see what they have to say. I was one of the people that comments on the show all the time. So I'll go back afterwards and I'll kind of look through some of the commentary on the show.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's bigger than others, depends on what we're talking about. But there's several people that make comment on the show every day. I never see it. It never comes across
know.
here.
I
I
know.
never see it. And they were getting frustrated. They go, I know you're
And
not
then
seeing this.
they just change it so now we can't get the X comments, and so it's like, what?
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. The level of sneaky censorship, I would call it, kind of under the covers censorship that people are
Mhm.
experiencing in this country. And now it's X. We thought we were going to be free on X. Now that's over. It's just depressing. It really is. It's very, I'll put it this way. It is incredibly ominous that you have AI censors that say, okay, if you say this word, if you use this phrase, if you talk about this topic, or you have this kind of influence, or people are starting to pay attention to, or you're growing at this pace, that we can squash it. Just think about that. So they can squash the people that they want to squash, and they can accelerate the people that preach party division, if you will. We should maybe we can trick the censors, because I don't think it's a person doing it. I think it's AI algorithms.
Oh, it's just bots, yeah.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we do the entire show in sarcasm? Tomorrow's show should be Donald Trump is playing 7D chess. Let me explain how 7D chess is played, and then we'll talk. It'll be
Bibi's the greatest president.
Bibi
of the United
Netanyahu
States
is the
ever.
greatest prime minister in Israeli history. He's a man of peace. We love Bibi Netanyahu, and let's see how far we can do with sarcasm.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm curious to see how it would go if we just were sarcastic the entire time. Like, what's the guy that does all the sarcasm? He's got a big format.
Tim Dillon?
No, JJ. What's his name? Who's the guy that has the Israeli gear on all the time? And JP Sears. Yeah, JP Sears. Sears. That's what it is. JP Sears. Yeah, his entire show is sarcasm.
Yeah.
And it must work. He's got the Israeli shirt on. He's got the Israeli hat, and then everything he says is sarcasm, and he seems to get traction. Maybe that's the play. Maybe it's all about sarcasm.
Maybe that is it.
All right.
Yeah, no, good. Just something I'll point out here, because I always like to pull up the live streams on X, because they're just different people that we follow that we know are influential people. So we know Shannon Joy is someone that's very influential in the media space. She's got people like Catherine Austin Fitz on her show, people like that, right? Right now, she's been live as long as Andrew Colvett has been live. Andrew Colvett's got 1,300 live viewers on his X feed, and Shannon Joy's got 175.
And she's 10 times more talented.
Oh, yes. 10 times more talented than Andrew Colvett. And
she's got a good show. I like her show.
Very good show. It's very not just the content, but production level too.
Yeah, libertarian. So she's a libertarian.
There's nothing different about the production levels of the show. However, there's a difference of the quality of person and the quality of content you're getting. Shannon Joy's is going to be much higher, and yet right now she's got 175 people watching her, and Andrew Colvett's got 1,300 people watching him on his X page.
We have to solve this problem. We have to put pressure on government. Please go to People's Lobby Missouri, peopleslobbymo.com, peopleslobbymo.com. Sign up so we can fix some of these situations. It's going to
Next
be
session. We just need to take Friday off, Rob, and go to the Capitol every Friday.
I'm going to talk to the advertisers about that. What I'd like to do is either take Friday or Monday off. That'll allow us to get down to the Capitol. It'll allow us to DC. It'll allow
we
us
can still do content and put it out. Just maybe not the show. Yeah,
absolutely. And we still have to do the commercials for the advertisers that we'll put out onto social media, endorsements and the like. We have to get that done here relatively soon. But I just think that thank God for the advertisers, right? Because this is what I worried about from the very beginning. The first time we had conversation, I said, listen, I get into subjects.
We're the supporters, not even advertisers. It's like they're the ones supporting the show and helping us to be able to do this. I know we say advertisers, but
they're supporters. They're supporters. There's no doubt about it. They're supporters. They're the ones that make all this happen. That's why I say if we have to help them. This has to be a communal effort, or it's going to be an uphill climb. Because let's be honest, Isaiah. You can look around at information pimps, if you will, that are out there in the world. And what information are they pimping? Just think about it. Just think of the people that really get your attention. The information pimps are Democrats versus Republicans, personal fights with one influencer or the other. It's a constant battle back and forth. And the people that create division their information spreads much more quickly than those that say, wait a minute, I'm not worried about what Alex Jones is saying. I'm not worried about what X person over here is saying. I'll report on it, But our fight is with the government that has become oppressive. That's our fight. Our fight is with the people that are supposed to protect our individual liberties, that are supposed to protect our constitutional rights, and they don't do jack diddly ding dong about any of it. It's so frustrating to me. I get so worked up over, how can people not get worked up over Jeffrey Weinhaus? How can people not empathize? What is going on? How do people not see that a journalist, think of how many times in your life, Isaiah, I don't know, you're not as old as me. How many times in life I've heard somebody say, well, they kill journalists over there in Russia. They killed journalists. I heard that all growing up because I was in journalism school.
Well, I
They
heard that
killed
all
them.
growing up because of the Iraqi war, Afghanistan, Kuwait. They're throwing journalists off their building over there. Look
Right.
at them.
Was Andrew Breitbart a journalist?
Mhm.
Was Jeffrey Weinhaus a journalist?
Yeah.
They do it here. They do it right here. They do it here. And if they, did you hear what G. Edward Griffin said? He said, Rob, the first thing they do is they ignore you.
Mm.
That's the first thing they do. They just ignore you. They act like you don't exist. And then if you get just enough attraction to it to get their attention, then they're going to come in and they're going to say, hey, look, Rob, I love your show. What we can do is we can get you on Newsmax, maybe. We'll get you on Newsmax. You'll be able to say not everything that you'd like to. We have to have a little bit of boundary, but we're going to pay you $1.5 million and we'll get your voice out to a larger people. Now, again, it'll be confined, but we'll get you out to a larger crowd. He said, and then they co-opt you by giving you a big paycheck. And now all of a sudden you're really happy because you're making all the money and you got the boat and you got the big house and you're able to travel and you're a big name and people know who you are. So they bring you into their fold. And he goes, and if everything fails, well, then they execute you. If everything else fails, then they execute you. And he's 94 and a half years old, who's been following the way our government is structured for 60 years.
Unreal.
Do you think that you know more than he does, everybody out there? Do you think that you know more than, and it was his mind sharp as a tack, Isaiah?
Well, Ben Shapiro told me.
Yeah, I was listening to Ben Shapiro the other day. Yeah. And it's just, the reason it's so depressing is you just know what these people stand for. If you study information, if you study propaganda, if you study politics, if you study all of these things, you can see right through them. But not everybody can see through them. People think I'm crazy. I'm the crazy guy, and Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin are the good guys, and Laura Loomer and these type of characters. It's whatever. JonesWater.com, JonesWater.com, JonesWater.com for all of your air and water filtration needs. It's always JonesWater.com. Here's 3 services that he gives to you, or that he provides for you, I guess I should say. He wouldn't want me giving anything away, I don't think, as a business, but he provides some services for you. Number 1 is dehumidifier systems. He says, Rob, if you are living in Missouri and you want to cut down on your energy bills, ultimately this will save you money to get a dehumidifier. He goes, that way you can put your thermostat, if you like it at 70, you can put it on 72 or 73. It'll feel exactly the same, only your air will be crisp and clean, and you'll feel like there's, when you go out on a 65-degree day in the fall and you walk outside and you feel that fresh, clean air. He goes, that's the way it will feel in your home. That's number 1. Number 2, you got to have air filtration systems in your home, or you're going to have sinus issues, respiratory issues, skin issues. You're going to have all of these issues because the air in your home is stale. And ultimately, as my man was trying to explain to us, there's a lot of electromagnetic, is that the way he described it, Isaiah?
Yep.
Or Wi-Fi or these kind of things. It's poison to your system, and you need to clarify or purify your air in your home. Air purification systems, water purification systems for your home or business. It's always JonesWater.com. Been around since 1995. He hooked up with me right at the very beginning. He liked what I had to say, liked the way I said. Doesn't agree with me on everything, by the way. I tell everybody, you don't have to agree with me. You just have to agree that I have the right to say the things that I say. That's where you're coming from, and the right for you to hear it. Because right now they block us on both sides. JonesWater.com, 636-899-1040, 636-899-1040. You'll be the filter, Isaiah, or you'll buy the filter, JonesWater.com. If you want to do business with Everett on the Missouri side of the water, St. Charles County, Lincoln, Franklin, Warren, St. Louis, and Jefferson. If you go to the east side, the dark side, Madison, Monroe, Jersey, and St. Clair. JonesWater.com, my dartball buddy, JonesWater.com, 636-899-1040. And then finally,
I just realized before you move on, Rob, water, food, and air, they're poisoning us in all those ways.
Yes.
That's how are we going to live?
Undeniable.
It's crazy.
Undeniable.
Now technology, like Rob was just telling us. Now technology.
Add that one to the list.
Health.
Yeah. Jack Cruz was talking about processed foods and how processed foods affect your brain. He said, these are things that are known in the scientific community. He's a doctor and a very high functioning doctor. He said all these things are known. All these studies are out there. It's just that if they keep that from the public, then they can do whatever they want to do. And the big corporations just, they do what they want to do because they buy off the governments. And
Sackler family, it's the greatest example.
The greatest example of all. Thank you, Isaiah. I forgot about that. Yeah. The greatest example of all time is the idea that you can sell Oxycontin to kids.
Mm-hmm.
The synthetic heroin that our industry that is supposed to protect people was selling synthetic heroin to our children. 100,000 or more were dying every year. Just think of it. That's more than the Vietnam War times 2 every year. 100,000 deaths because our institutions said synthetic heroin, that's no big deal. If a 17-year-old hurts their knee, just give them some Oxycontin, they'll be fine. And then they took about a month.
It's not addictive.
Not addictive. Then they take about a month's worth of it. They're completely addicted. They can't get the pills anymore. So they go on the streets and they're trying to find heroin. And I should know 3 people in my family dead from it. They didn't die from COVID, Isaiah, but they did die from these drugs that we passed through the FDA as being non-addictive and perfectly fine. And they paid a fine to the people that put it forth, paid a fine to the people that allowed it because they're on the same team. It'd be like paying yourself a fine.
Yeah. I think someone in there, it's like someone got a job with the Sackler family from the FDA too. And it's crazy. It's just, and that's how it always happens, right? You see Dana's comment?
Yeah. We're on the same page, Dana.
So good.
But that's Sackler
Moe's
family.
Pizza. Sorry. I didn't mean to derail you, but I just thought that was so interesting. Water, food, and air. They're poisoning us already. We know that, and now the technology is another front of their war they're raging on the Americans.
Adderall, synthetic meth.
Yep, exactly.
I ever tell you my Adderall stories?
No, but I was given Ritalin when I'm like 6 years old. They were like, "You need Ritalin. You need to calm down."
Every smart kid they want to put on Ritalin.
Yeah.
I used to take Adderall for drives. I would take that 16-hour drive.
Oh yeah.
The first time I ever took Adderall in my life, it was to somebody told me it would keep me awake. I'm like, well, I got a 16-hour drive.
Yeah.
I'll take one of these Adderalls because I'm not expecting anything other than it's prescription medicine. It's not that big of a deal. This is a true story. Now I got a lot of energy just to begin with, as you can tell from the show. I got my mind goes kind of sometimes.
I don't think we turned the radio on once when we drove from South Carolina to DC. I think we just talked the whole time. That's how we
That's
are.
right. You and I were going back and forth. Exactly right. So I took an Adderall in St. Louis. It's a true story. This is when I was dating my now wife. I took an Adderall. I drove from St. Louis to Florida straight through, right? Went to the bathroom, got gas, but I drove straight through. No breaks, no naps, no anything. I got home after driving 16 hours and I watched a movie before I finally got tired enough to close my eyes. I drove it. And my wife goes, "You're going to watch a movie?" I said, I'm still, I'm kind of got to wind down.
Probably not even that hungry either, right?
I got to wind down. She's like, wind down? You need to wind down. You just drove 16 hours. Aren't you wound down
I've been
enough?
locked into the road for 16 hours.
I said, no, I want to watch the Godfather trilogy and then I'll take a nap. Yeah. Rot Mama says squirrels. Absolutely. Yeah. But those are my stories. All right. Moe's Pizza. Again, we got to do Isaiah, we have to do a show from Moe's Pizza.
Yeah.
We should ask Mike and Brenda when they want us to do it.
We're about to hit our 100th episode, so I think it'd be a good celebration of that, or do it on the 100th episode, or do it as a celebration.
I don't know that I'll be back in town.
I don't think you will be, but that's why I was saying we could do it maybe as a celebration of hitting 100 episodes, even though it's not the 100th episode. We could try to do something like that.
Let me see here. I get more text than viewers right now.
Oh yeah,
because of Facebook.
For the show? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I got like 25 texts, and I got 25. Facebook is just anyway. All right.
It's so funny because it's treating us well in some areas, and it's just terrible in other areas.
Yeah, it's day to day. Obviously, Moe's Pizza again. Moe's Pizza. If you are in Franklin County and you are not arrested for speaking too loudly to the people in power, get by Moe's Pizza and have some lunch, have some dinner every day but Monday. Pizza and salad bar. That sounds absolutely fantastic right now. Again, I'm starving. At the end of the show, I want to eat my arm.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza and salad bar. Delicious chicken wings, as I'm told. Isaiah, I have not had the chicken wings yet. I'll have them next time.
They are delicious.
Great sandwiches, burgers, ice cream, in a family environment. It is a landmark in Washington, Missouri. If you haven't been out there, you got to get out and check it out. God owns the place, as he likes to say. He just works there. God owns the place. I just work here, is what he told me. At the corner of Grand and 5th Street. And the number one thing you have to remember about Moe's Pizza is they have banquet space available for get-togethers. So if you have political meetings, Bible studies, anniversaries, birthdays, it doesn't matter. If you have any kind of get-together, think Moe's Pizza. They'll treat you like family. It's nice. It's an old school type of business where you have good people that run it, good people that work for them. Great environment. I love it. Moe's Pizza in Washington, Missouri. When it's time for lunch and you're in Franklin County, when you're in Washington, Missouri, get there. All right, Isaiah, I have a ton of stuff I was going to talk about today. I'm
know.
going to run out of time. Did you see the protester at Donald Trump's rallies that are starting to pop up? Play that real fast for people. I got to go get my teeth cleaned for $350 because I got to get the gums done here at 2:30 Florida time. But let's do the Trump rally protester. This is starting to pop up everywhere.
Oh, really? Well, the person was asking. Neutral commentator for a change. I like neutral commentator. You were supposed to drain this I see. You're going to meet your You sold us out to Jews and Israel. Well, you sold us out. You sold us out.
Wow, the average age looks about to be 55 or 65, maybe. Not even 55. Maybe like 65.
Isaiah,
Yeah.
we did not talk about this ahead of time. That's exactly the point I was going to make.
Really? I mean,
Right?
that was crazy just to see all those people that were there. I was like, wow.
He went from outdoor 50,000 people coming to see him speak. Now he's in a gymnasium with 800 people, and the audience is, no offense, but the audience is all much older boomers, as they say. I think the boomers
It's the boomers. Yeah.
I think the boomers are doing great with Donald Trump, and that's probably why they love him.
Darlene Graham just won. It's because that's the boomer. You know, South Carolina is a big boomer state.
A lot of retirement. Yeah, a lot of retirement.
And so that's
show that video one more time and just show the crowd. These are the people that are going to support Donald Trump. Just check it out as you see it. It's not me making it up. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, the person was asking. Neutral
I'm going to pause it when there's a part I loved.
You were supposed to drain this I see. You're going to meet your You sold us out to Jews and Israel. Well, you sold us out.
Look at that. Look at the people that are in front of him there. No offense. I mean, I'm not saying that nothing's wrong with being old. You know, I'm going to be old one day. But
well, it's not even that. It's just an observation of the people that are supporting Donald Trump. That's all we're saying. And I'm not even saying those people are wrong. I think
people get offended when I bring it up, though, Rob, because I'm a young guy. So I understand.
I get it.
I'm not trying to cast blame, and I do know that there's boomers that don't prescribe to this. I always got to say that too.
Yeah.
It's just here's the evidence of what we're talking about.
I think that it's going to get funky town before the general election. I do. I think if there's any kind of, I think they want the Democrats to now have control of the House or Senate or both.
Yeah.
But I think that would be perfect for the establishment because now they'll say, okay, now the House is coming in. They'll supposedly block everything that Donald Trump wants to do. Oh, if he only would have got this 2 more years. I told you had to vote for the Republicans. Now the Democrats haven't. He just can't get it done. I told you needed to vote for the Republicans.
It's your fault, people. You didn't vote for the right people.
You went out there and you said after 10 years, you're not going to support Donald Trump because all the things that you wanted done, he didn't get done. And you're the reason they voted for the Democrats. And that is why we can't get anything done because Donald Trump had 10 years. He needed 12. If he'd had 12, we'd have got these things done. And that will be the argument. And I think that the Democrats will win the House. I think you'll have divided government in theory. It'll be, of course, very organized. Trust me when I tell you that. But in theory, it'll be divided. And that's why things won't get done. And they'll blame people like me and you because we were not on our knees with a picture of Donald Trump above us going, I love you so much. You're the greatest thing in the world. And I love 5D chess. Please teach me how to play it.
Yes.
That's what'll happen. I promise you.
Now we need to know about 5G chess, right? We need to know about the 5G chess now.
Can we go back and play this one more time for people that might not have because we were getting really squashed early. So people, they start to look for you like, where's Rob? He's not in my feed. And they go find me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do place 7 one more time. Let's finish the show with what Catherine Austin Fitts had to say. Because Catherine Austin Fitts, if you're not paying attention to her like I am, you should go to Solari, Solari. I think it's SolariReports.com, but look up Solari. And look at the information that she puts out.
Solari.com.
Yep. So follow along with what she has to say. And you'll say, Rob, oh my God, she got that right. They got that right. They got that right. And then all along the way, as she's getting things right, then maybe you should listen to her now, because she's if she's been predicting the future, then maybe she can predict the future moving forward. And if she predicts the future moving forward, you should be very concerned about where the country is heading. Very concerned, because she said there is no doubt from a financial standpoint what is happening.
Yeah.
There's no doubt what's happening. This is her expertise, is the financial situation. And she says that a control grid is being put into place so that a small group of power will be able to analyze and control society, and you're not going to be able to get out of it. That's it.
You know what I love about Catherine Austin Fitts? Because I've been thinking about this.
I love her.
I love that she doesn't treat anyone like they're stupid.
Correct.
She never does. She doesn't, even if they don't know something, she doesn't treat them like they are lesser or not intelligent for not knowing something. Instead, she takes an opportunity to educate and help people understand. And I just, man, I can't, I wish I was as good as her at that.
She's my number one guest that I want to get on.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get her on. I had no idea when we reached out to her. We got an email back, whoever was booking for the show at the time, and they said she was booked a year out on podcast.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's a long
they'll look
time.
into it basically. But I'm like, a year out, holy cow! And she's everywhere, and you can't stump her.
Maybe we could try to catch her at an in-person event or something. That
I was thinking the same.
into.
It's funny you
Yeah.
say that. I was thinking the exact same thing. Maybe when she's at some kind of a speaking engagement, we could find her
Yep.
and tell her how wonderful we are and get her on the show. All right.
Yep.
Check out now. Listen to what she has to say for my Donald Trump supporters. Now, if she's wrong, I'm going to come out here and say, I cannot believe that Catherine Austin Fitts got it wrong. Look how great everything is in the year 2031. This is absolutely amazing. Everybody's rolling in dough. People are cohesive. We've taken control of the information sources. I'm free on Facebook and X to say whatever I want. I have the same opportunity as Benny Johnson to get my message out. Our food supply is no longer being poisoned. Look how many great things have happened. I will be the first to come out and say that Catherine Fitts got it wrong. She claims that, exactly like Rob Workman is saying, that we're being poisoned by our food. She says that we are being entrapped by technology. And the key part of it is that it is a system of governance. A system of governance. It doesn't matter who the president of the United States is. It does not matter at all. But what matters is the influence that the president has. Remember how persuasive Barack Obama was with his hope and change? Remember that? And how he worked on me. Donald Trump worked on me. Now none of it will work on me now. Now I get it. And she said the reason they want Donald Trump to be president is they will put forth a control grid, and the Republicans and the people that are following Donald Trump will allow it, because if it were a Democrat doing it, they would take up arms. They would not allow what is happening to happen under a Democrat president. So it had to be a Republican. When it's in place, when it's done, you're going to end up with a Democrat president, because those are the people that really will accept the idea that the Democrats are clamping us down. We'll accept that communism was voted for. Right, Isaiah? The communists are coming. The communists are coming, and we're going to allow the communists to come because our government is so bad and so horrific and so full of fraud that it boggles the mind. So here come the Democrats.
Yeah, we're so worried about communism, but did you see all the stuff with North Korea and South Korea, and how Trump's, becoming more buddy with Kim Jong-un, and he's trying to buddy up to North Korea more because he's like, oh, we need to be better friends with them.
South Korea.
I'm so confused. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like North Korea, you're butting up to. You love
Right.
Russia. You love China. You talk about President Xi all the time. And then to us, you're saying, people, be afraid of China. They're coming. The
They're
communists are coming.
South Korea would not join in the fight against Iran because they don't think it's a just war. This is the theory. And because they will not back Donald Trump on their war with Iran, he's now backing North Korea.
Yeah.
And what did Trump fans say?
We hate
Good.
the communists.
I like Kim Jong-il. I like that society. I mean, I get it. Okay. All right. I don't get it, but again, what do I know? Isaiah, what do I know? Maybe they're all right.
We
Maybe
hate
Kim
but they hate the communists, Rob. That's they hate them.
They hate the communists,
They,
but not Kim Jong-un. He's
No.
he's acceptable because Donald Trump says he's acceptable.
and not President Xi, right?
Yeah, those people who don't want to go to war with Iran, those are terrible human beings, and they should be eliminated from the face of the earth. Here is Catherine Austin Fitts explaining exactly what was going down. She said this multiple times on multiple podcasts. I covered it on my radio show. She said Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. Don't worry about fraudulent elections. They want him to be the president of the United States because he is the guy they have chosen, selected to bring in the surveillance system. That's what she said all along, and it is happening right before our very eyes. Check it out.
Trump was put into the White House to persuade conservatives to go along with a control grid. And what you need to understand is if you look at all the factions operating in Washington, there is nobody on our side. They are all trying to implement the control grid. And the question is, who's going to control it and who's going to make money on it? So is Trump our friend? Absolutely not. And if you look at the extraordinary effort that the administration has made to build the control grid, the local hardware and software infrastructure, billions of dollars. So let me step and talk about the local infrastructure and then come back to this side, Andy. Let me explain what AI is really good at. So there's a lot of crazy, magical, stupid thinking on AI. But one of the things I will say about AI, it's absolutely superb at implementing or tracking things that can be expressed mathematically. So its ability to collect and process huge amounts of data like surveillance data, where you're trying to implement spatial control or financial control, it's absolutely fantastic at, okay? And if you look at all the data centers we're building all over the country, they are there for control. That's what they do. They're not there to make businesses. You know, I always laugh when the guys say, oh, we poured all this money into AI and it's not making companies more productive. Well, of course, it's not meant to make companies more productive. It's meant to make sure that the leadership has complete control, spatial control and financial control. I just noted Congressman Massey is now fighting to kill the switch in your car. You know, kill the car switch. So they've got new items in the car that your car can be turned off, you know, remotely. And so he's trying to kill the kill switch. But that gets back to spatial control. And if everybody's an electric car and you could kill the switch, there you go. You've got total control of movements and money.
Yeah. Did you get anything wrong?
No.
You think people can see it?
I think that there are more people now that see it than ever before.
Will they do anything about it then?
I think a small percentage of people will do it. I don't think it's enough yet that are going to. I really think it's going to take about 5 to 10 years for people to get up in arms about this. And I think, you know, because I see people like Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and telling us, hey, we're not going to vote our way out of this, right?
Uh-huh.
And Thomas Massey told me and you, hey, it's the best way you can get out of this is mass non-compliance. That's the only way.
What if one of Elon Musk's SWAT robots comes to your door because you're non-compliant? Now what do we do?
Yeah, that's where
it can see through the walls,
right?
It can see through the walls. It can take you out if it wants to. It can arrest you if it wants you. It can pin you down.
That's where we bear arms and we fight back. And that's what I think it will get to. If we allow those things to happen, Rob, I think that's what it will get to, is that there's going to be and I think that may be what they want. You know, people always talk about how the Uniparty wants a civil war. That's what they're going for eventually, is they want us to have this internal civil war here in America.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that happening. I don't think it's going to happen during Trump's presidency. I don't think it's going to happen in the next presidency. I think it's going to be a couple more. And once all these things are implemented and we start to see the results of the implementation, I think that's when a small portion of America will rise up and push back. I think it may be too late then, though. That's my fear.
That's what I fear too. I fear that we find out too late.
Yeah.
All right. I got to get to the dentist. Have a great day, everybody. Isaiah, my man, enjoyed it as always.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll beat some algorithm somehow after the show is over and we'll get this out to a little bit.
I can't believe we got 10,000 followers yesterday. That's crazy.
I got to look into that because that is absolutely fantastic. So now we just got to hope that the 10,000 followers, when we put out information,
stay away, Sarah.
Well, that they'll be able to see it.
Yes, exactly.
You know, they'll be able to see it. It'd be nice. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Dr. Shiva tomorrow.
Yep. Yes. Put
So
out a
again,
video on the way to the dentist. Let everyone know.
I will. I'll make sure that we promote Dr. Steve. I am going to do this more often. I am so overloaded with trying to get this organized for
know.
the
The
People's
event
Lobby
is hard.
Missouri meeting. It's just a lot. I'm juggling a lot of different. I can't get back to everybody. They think I'm such a. It's like, we were trying to buy gear yesterday, so we're buying merchandise. I had to find the location. I'm talking to people about how to fundraise in the future so that we can do marketing campaigns and spread our message. I'm traveling back and forth with between Missouri and here. I'm trying to talk to my advertisers. I just had one reach out to me. I mean, it's overwhelming, and we need more hands on deck, and we need more financing. We can solve all of our problems with just a little bit of effort. That's it. You just got to get a little bit of effort, and we have to somehow convince people that we need their help. Not a ton, just a little, just a lot of people giving just a little bit of help, and we solve all of these problems. That's the way I see it. peopleslobbymo.com, peopleslobbymo.com. Don't forget September the 18th. September the 18th. Mark that on your calendar. I think we're going to have somewhere between, I'm only going to allow 150 to 200 people because we're going to live stream it. I don't, I just don't want to pay for a venue with 500 people. I just don't want to spend that much money. So if you're interested in going, reach out to us, the robcartershow.com. Just say, hey, I want some tickets. I'm a member of People's Lobby Missouri. I want some tickets. We'll have our supporters there. We'll have, we'll have the people that pay attention to the show. We'll have all the key players there, and it is going to be a dynamite night. Trust me when I tell you, that's something you do not want to miss. That's going to be one of the most enlightening experiences you've ever had in your life. On September the 18th, you're going to see the world for what it is, not what you want it to be, and then you can make determinations on how you want to move forward. That's all I got for you today. Isaiah, we'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll see everybody tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on the Robb Carter Show. Have a great day, everybody.
See ya.